Yang Chun-Li. Classic. That didn't combo. How can you just get 4 EX Rekkas and still be safe? Delete this. Delete Yang. I actually like Yang a lot. He doesn't feel too cheap. And yeah, he fights the top characters really well. Yang actually genuinely feels like the risk reward for him is about right. Also, he's been hit out of like 2 EX attacks this round. Be careful, Yang. Nice catch. That meaty ass close strong. That was close medium kick from Chun-Li. I think. That was the TC, I heard it. He did the jump medium kick to dive kick. Ah, I can't believe that didn't combo. Maybe we did stand short instead of close strong. Weird to go for the palm there. You get a ton of damage on Chun-Li if you start with the palm in the corner. It's hard to get though. Nice parry, good punish, but he missed the super cancel. It's hard to get that super precise. Whoa, he's dead. Universal overhead link super. All the time I think about how hard it is to get my meaties into universal overhead. If I get like a frame perfect universal overhead, I can link stand strong on a standing opponent. My stand strong is 5 frames. Chun-Li super is I think 3. Oh, anti-air sweep. Oh no! Yang's close strong whiffed on crouching Chun-Li. That normally doesn't happen. She's extra low when she's doing low forward. Why is this game like that? I love this game. That linked? He was standing, wasn't he? Timeout. He was standing. I think Chun-Li's universal overhead is just more plus than mine. Different universal overheads have different plus frames. Not much universal about it, honestly. It's not a punish. It might have been able to be a punish if he did like crouch jab. Ooh. Oh, that's good. Smart. Big brain. Yang has an invincible reversal. If you're going to do a meaty that shitty, that telegraphed. Hi, it's me. An invincible reversal can counter it. That was smart. You rarely see Yang super used like that, but there it was guaranteed. Nice. Anti-air back fierce. Whoa, Rekka trade with a EX bird kick. Hi. The fucking low short into the fake palm. That was probably an EX Rekka or something. I don't know. Is that a punish? I hit him midair. Perfect punish by Yang. That was amazing. Getting jump in punishes on Chun-Li is not super hard, but like, it's really nice when you see it. Yeah, SA2 is the best choice because it's the only multi-bar super for Yang. SA3 is a better super than SA2 if you're just looking at the supers. SA3 is probably better in all matchups, but especially better in matchups where you can easily get cross-up unblockables. But EX, I mean, SA3 holds like 1 EX move compared to SA2, which holds like 5. And Yang's EX Rekka is the best EX move in the game. I can't think of a better one. Oh, that was a kill. It looked like he went for close forward, walk, close forward, super jump, cancel, fierce would be my guess. And he didn't walk in enough, so he got the far forward. But that's like a weird combo that he went for. He could have done Rekka Rekka and then stayed fierce. That's like the typical combo, I think. Or like Rekka 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 even. Wow, it's only threw too early. Yang hadn't moved in enough. That didn't combo. Those 2 Rekka hits did not combo. Oh, this is, yeah. Never eat that palm. You will just die. Yang cut the combo super short, probably thinking it was going to kill. It's stunned anyway. Very nice. Something with no meter is not super scary. I lost a shit ton of money, but my quality of life got a little bit better. And also, I was halfway through some college courses, and now they've been put online starting next Monday. Yeah, I had stock. They fucking tanked. I could have bought a car with the money I lost. That was a 3-hit Rekka. It still wasn't punished. Wow. Awkward. EX break kick sucks. This is horrible now. Love that TC. Ooh. Why jab? Why not like back fierce or something? I definitely still hate my job. I don't even dislike my job, I just hate working. But now I'm more apprehensive to go. There we go. Well, he missed the fierce at the end. He would have stunned with that. It's alright. You can also just end with a 3rd Rekka. Or even a 2 hits of Rekka actually works on Chun-Li. You can do Palm for the JP1 launch, then Rekka Rekka for 2-3, Rekka Rekka for 4-5, and then Rekka Rekka for 6-7, and the 7th one hits fast enough that the opponent isn't invincible yet. was a nice empty dive kick. Again. Probably a failed car throw? Oh, this is, yeah, he had to beat Daigo. He couldn't even block the first 8 because he was dead. So we had to start parrying either right away or go for a very, very quick red parry, which are hard to do. Oh. He did it. That's the exact combo I described a second ago. He got the 6-7. That combo's not super hard. It's not free, but it is consistent. He OS'd the last parry, but he still got the punish in time, even though Yang didn't do the last Rekka. And TR stand forward to beat the dive kick. The non-dive kick in that case. Look at all the damage. See how he ended with Stand Fierce? Oh, he just wanted chip. Stand Fierce, I think, does more stun and less damage than 2 Rekkas. It might actually do more stun and more damage than 2 Rekkas. I think it's less damage. But it definitely does more stun. After EX Rekkas on corner Q, you can do a single EX Rekka. So you can do like 5 EX Rekkas into 1 EX Rekka. And then after the 1 EX Rekka, you've got time to juggle regular Rekkas. It looks hilarious. Oh, that was in Crystal Cube's trials, wasn't it? So you guys might have already seen that one. It's not like good. It's kind of a waste of a bar. It does exist though. Ah, very nice. This meter advantage is looking pretty good for Yang though. Put it like that. Chun-Li's doing a really good job building meter. Oh, how did this go so awry? Yang can still get the stun if he gets a few good EX Rekkas for this loop. Chun-Li actually backdashed out. Curious. I wouldn't have guessed that would work. I didn't know she had time to do that. Backdashes aren't invincible. Still winnable. In fact, quite good for Yang. And when I say good for Yang, I mean still like, you know, Chun-Li's favor, but like, I would have called it closer to 50-50 than Chun-Li winning. Big range on that. Here we go. She's being loop-de-looped. He went for the medium kick that time. Usually, Yang players do either the command grab or the low forward EX Rekka. The close medium kick is the third option you can do. It's got the same mix-up as the low forward, but it leaves you in a kind of different position if it's blocked. Oh, that was a failed EX Rekka, I think. Oof. This hurts so much on twins. Chun-Li doesn't face the anti-airs too well. And she doesn't like the command grab mix-ups and stuff. This matchup's not too bad. But you can just see the damage output is really nice for her. And she does have the neutral to at least compete with Yang. I think traditionally this matchup is pretty even, if not slightly in Chun-Li's favor. Which I would probably agree with. I don't know, I would personally say it's even. But I'm not an expert on either of these characters. It just looks even. That's all I'm basing it on. I've seen it quite a lot. If it's in someone's favor though, it's definitely Chun-Li's. Hi. On that close stand strong, you can link a stand short and get EX Rickus from that. He's gotten a few close stand strongs where he hasn't gotten that. It's not a tight link. Let's cross up hard kick. Very commonly when people are learning this game, they're like, what's my cross up? Twins do have a cross up on hard kick. It's rather hard to get. You don't see it very often. I don't remember if there's a hitbox difference with the twin dive kicks. Urian has no cross up in this game. That's one of his big weaknesses. He's got the cross up knee drop, yeah. I remember Yun being able to cross up dive kick and Yang not being able to do that, but I don't remember if that's this game or SF4. I feel like it's SF4. In this game, I've definitely been cross up dive kicked by both Yun and Yang in the corner, and it almost never happens outside the corner. But Oro's a somewhat hard character to cross up, not super hard. Play them. Steal tech from better players. Oh my god. Moko's about to summon her persona. I swear, like, 50% of the people who ask me how to get better at fighting games that I've, like, dug into, they, like, don't even play. It's like, bro, how are you gonna get better at fighting games if you don't play? Ah, Chun-Li's cancer. That looked like a non-cross-up dive kick. Nice. Chun-Li has a very fast reversal in her super. That backdash was kind of weird. Oh, very nice. Got the tippy tip. Bottom of her knee. That was a cross-up dive kick. Based on when Yang jumps and when Yang dive kicks, or more accurately, just when Yang dive kicks. That will either land on the front or the back. That one like barely landed in the back, so it was pretty ambiguous. You can like foster a passion, you know. Try new shit. Buy some paint, buy a canvas, watch some Bob Ross. Ooh. You can get super there, but it's hard. You need the right height. You basically need a perfect rolling kick. In fact, if he did super instead of the rolling kick, he might have killed her, because I think the super does more damage. You rarely see Yang... Yang rarely has situations where supers are a good idea. And because of that, the Yang players almost never take the supers. There's nothing else to do there except super, and it does add a decent amount of damage, so a lot of Yangs do it. I've got a problem where I've got like 8 different passions, and they're all competing for my time. Very nice. Close fierce, trying to catch her parrying low. Might have gotten it. Actually, it looked like she did an EX move of some variety. Close fierce has a lot of active frames because it's 2 hits. Yeah, what did she do? That was an EX move, wasn't it? I think I saw the flash, but I didn't see the. I was looking at Yang's meter. Yeah, that was indeed a flash. Oh, perfect, perfect angle. There's no good way of getting a palm on a cornered opponent, but it's so rewarding when you get it. Most people won't reaction parry it. Technically speaking, even if the opponent parries your palm, Yang can super through their parry punish. But I don't know if I've ever seen anyone do that. But it does work. Fucked up 2 car throws in a row and Yang didn't tech either. At least trade schools are still doing good. Become a welder. I like how that's just the meme answer. Nothing wrong with being a welder. Become a plumber. Electrician. Those jobs pay bank. Let me tell you something. Every now and then I need to go and get some work done to my car. Okay? Maybe I need the tire pressure checked. Or maybe I have like an engine light on. Some shit like that, right? And every time I go there, it's like a stereotypical like little office room when you first walk in, and there's a computer in the back, and it's like only owned by like 3 different people, and they're all like family. That computer perpetually has WoW open, and all the time there isn't a customer in there, the owner is just playing WoW. This guy's job is literally just to fix cars. He makes hella bank doing it. Works close to home. You know what he does all the time? Even on his job, he plays WoW. This was before WoW Classic, the last time I saw him doing it. Is that really a link? Yeah, I think it was. It's 10 hit super. I think Elena has the same health as Oro. Ooh, he bet it. Worked too. Elena's DP has very, very depressing lateral range, but it is invincible. That was a punish. That probably could have been a punish too. Imagine parrying Chun-Li's low forward, the move that can literally kill you if you miss the parry, and then getting a throw punish on her. This is the reality that most third strike characters live in. Oh, that was parry into low forward or something. I feel like if humans take a year off from society, they're going to forget how to do it. Ah, shit. I beat Bug Fables. I didn't adjust the stream at all. What a pain. Alright, I'm going to change it because I'm only going to hear... I'm not going to hear the end of that if I don't change it. Let me type. Chillin'. Oh, I hear myself. Uh, Category. Let's do retro, my favorite. Fuck typing third strike, takes too long. There we go. It was good, yeah. It was very cute. Skin tone swap. Maybe this darker Elena will be able to win. Third strike is more popular now than it was when it came out. I don't know if it's the most popular now it's ever been, but it is more popular than it was when it came out. Third strike was not seen to be... Third strike was seen to be a big improvement over New Generation and Second Impact. But they were all seen to be like, you know, not good games. Whoa! Wake up low short super. If the low short is allowed, the super will probably be a combo. I had, what's his face? Everdred do that to me all the time. He did wake up low short flash kick, and he had a very good success rate. Because either he would block whatever. He did like delayed low short as his wake up option. If he had time to actually get the low short out, it would almost invariably not be blocked. Elena's sitting on a lot of bar. If she gets a low parry, she gets low strong super. That does quite a lot of damage. 30-40% of Chun-Li's health. Ugh. Only the one fierce. Is that jump light kick? Rare footage of an unused Elena normal. Rhino Horn? Good lord, that just worked. That was raw super. He's gonna do another one. Mark my words. Raw super in 3, 2, 1. Oh! He was scared. EX Kikoken is a big meme. It's decently strong for a fireball, but it's one hit and thus one parry. And it's hard to combo into and doesn't, like, you know. Nice. Get parried super anyway. Use Chun-Li's tactics against her. I think Elena is indeed cuter than Chun-Li. Elena's a lot younger than Chun-Li. Elena's like 17 or something. And Chun-Li is like in her 30s by this game. First and last hit. Who needs the others? Ah, perfect. It was more of an observation. You see how Universal Overhead just clean beat EX Spinning Bird? I'm really into older ladies, to be 100% honest. Ah. Suddenly likes that little sequence. Low short, low forward. So much for Elena. Meanwhile, Oro's in his like 130s. That might not have comboed if not for the crouching. He did that so slow. Nice. Close first to blow up, single high parry. We don't know. Maybe. Imagine if you'd only played SF5, and then you found out in SF3 that, like, Alex is supposed to, like, beat Gil. And, like, disband his group or whatever. And that the story would focus on that. Not this game really has a story that focuses on anything. Oof. We have Cody applying himself in Street Fighter 5. There he is, you can see him. Why is there a yawn on the screen? I think the storyline for Cody is literally like fucking, yep, he still got it. God, fuck Yon. I'm so bad versus Yon. Every time I see all this stuff that Yon does that I have no idea what to do about, it just makes me sad. I never liked left forward activate that much, to be honest. Ooh, got him. Got a lot of meter back for that. I missed the Kara palm at the end. Kara dash punch, I mean. We have no idea whether Ryu is stronger than Akuma by SF3. They just don't even interact, actually. Like, they never interact at all in SF3, I don't think. When does he beat Akuma? One of the plot points? It's not in either of their endings, and that's the only fucking thing that exists in 3S. Ryu's opponent in the tournament is Ken. Ryu's ending is just him in front of a waterfall or some bullshit. Akuma's ending has him, like, destroying a mountain. They literally have zero interaction in Third Strike at all. Ooh, cool, the double jab. Aw. Erase a character from Third Strike. That's a hard call. I guess I would say Chun-Li. Yeah, if I was gonna erase a character from Third Strike, I would erase someone no one would miss, which would probably be Sean. The Oro in me wants to say Chun-Li, but Sean is the right answer. Ooh. He went for 2 jabs and it whiffed on crouching Yang. I'm thinking SF6 probably will be 3, to be honest. If they go with that, though, they'll probably have to bring back just about every Third Strike character, which I don't know if they would have the balls to do it. I'm thinking a pretty big time skip after 3 is the most likely, and then during 3, just like a 3 retelling with 3 characters would be the second most likely. Literally every time anyone brings up Done in the future, there's invariably someone who's immediately like Mel and Sean, and I get it. So that's the most enticing pair. That's the thing we all want. We want Mel and Sean. Oro is near guaranteed in 6, I feel. It's his turn. I mean that in a way that, like, you know, they haven't had him in a while and they probably pull him out. But I also mean that in the sense that people are going to be asking for him because, like, you know, all of their previous requests have now made it. Alex, but a good character. I agree. They should bring back characters who didn't get a chance the first time. That's what they did with Birdie. Birdie never had a chance in Alpha. And they brought back Birdie, and now he's good. Who are the good birdies right now? Are there any? Yeah, Hakan, I'd like that. Remember when Fudo was playing Birdie? I actually hella like this Birdie. I can't think of like any fucking good Birdie player that's currently playing Birdie. Perry could come back. Not the question. If Perry ever returns, it will certainly be more risky than it is in this game. I think Perry OS is fun. The opposite of shit for me. Six is almost certainly being developed right this second, to be honest. Love this combo. Aw, he went for a car palm. The towards medium kicks make it closer. Yeah, I did finish Bug Fables. Game is over. That could have been dash punch, and it should have been. With how many characters are locked in Street Fighter V, I think free to play was probably like not a bad idea. But they couldn't have just initially released it like that. Nice. I prefer packs of characters, honestly, than buying characters individually. It's more fun when multiple characters come out at once because you're inherently like kind of weighing them against each other. When Gil just comes out solo, it's just, I don't know. There's something about it that's just like, you're not gonna see that many Gil players, I feel. But when you get like 4 characters coming out at the same time, or like let's say 3, let's say Honda, Lucia, and who was it? Poison. When all 3 of those characters came out, it was very common to run into one of the 3. And people were having a lot of discussions on which ones were better than others, you know? When characters come out in packs, it kind of feels like I don't know. That comparison makes them all look better somehow. Nice anti-air. Three characters twice a year sounds fine. I'd actually like that a lot. Remember Super Street Fighter 4? That shit released 10 characters like fucking 8 months after release or something. Granted, I think 4 of them were already like being developed in vanilla. Arms is gonna have a Smash character, right? That seems like I don't know. I don't want to say it seems bad, but it seems bad. Arms has a very interesting aesthetic, but I feel like the characters themselves are very uninteresting. So I'm wondering if they're going to do something like Bowser Jr., where they just have every single character be a single character in Smash. But I don't think they'll do that. An ARMS character, from a gameplay perspective, an ARMS character sounds great in Smash, to be 100% honest. That was a parry, but Ying did a empty jump, empty dive. I think the most important thing is a gameplay function, and an ARMS gameplay function sounds really, really fun. I get why they want Nintendo characters. I understand. Whoa. In Melee, it's 20 total hours of gameplay to unlock Mewtwo in versus mode. But also, it divides it by characters. Divides it by players, I mean. So if you set it, if you have 4 controllers, you can plug in all 4 controllers and get 4 human opponents, and then just sit for 5 minutes or 5 hours. I found that out and I was like, ooh. I never knew that as a kid. I think when I unlocked Mewtwo, it was like, I don't know. It just happened organically. He's like the second to last character pretty much everyone unlocks. I think I just naturally got up to 20 hours or whatever. Remember how intense it was that you had to beat the character in order to get them? Remember when games used to have in-game cheats? And then achievements came out? And then in-game cheats all died. Turning some in-game cheats on used to be some fun shit. Remember GoldenEye? Remember all guns? Ooh, Doom has it? That's lit. I haven't played a game that had in-game cheats forever. I like cheating, to be honest. Something real satisfying about it. Cheat booklets, I do. I remember seeing those in like stores, and it would just have like a long list of games, and you'd like go into the thing and pray that your game was in there. It's like I'm dying. I can't stop dying in Adventure Island. And then it's like hold select at Adventure Island. Get this item and then hold select or whatever bullshit. And you won't go back to the title screen when you die. It's like, thank God. I had some games I had a super hard time with. I was just always praying for like, please let me just bypass this. Shoutouts to every RPG with a that one boss. And it's like, please let there be a strat for that one boss. Paintball mode, that's my favorite cheat too. It's so harmless. Reminds me of the cheat in Tony Hawk, where it changed the blood into smiley faces. Ah yes, like go-go. I remember Spider-Man, I don't remember Shrek. That must have been... Don't remember the game. I remember Darth Maul. Remember the 20 billion hour cutscene before the Riku fight in Kingdom Hearts 1? And every time you lost, you had to watch the whole cutscene again? That was one of the last games Square ever made that didn't have cutscene skip. And it was probably that one specific scene that caused them to add cutscene skip. I've never played a better game than Final Fantasy XII when it comes to cutscenes. Because in that game, if you hit start, it says it pauses the cutscene and then also gives you the option of skipping the cutscene. Truly a best of all worlds. That jump cancel was so fucking late, I actually saw Chun-Li starting to jump before she got the super. Don't look at me, I've got Phoenix Wright Justice for All just sitting on my desktop waiting for me to play it. I was reminded yesterday of Phantasy Star Online Episode 3. I beat Kingdom Hearts 1, I'm proud. I didn't take that many attempts on Riku. In fact, I might have done him on my first, I don't remember. There were a few bosses I got stuck against. No, I didn't do critical. The Dance Water Dance guy, who everyone hates, I did him on my first try. Demix, I think. I think the werewolf guy and the card guy I first tried. And I think the sniper guy too. Meanwhile, I took like a million tries to beat the guy with the spears. And Larkseen pushed my shit in. I did do data org. I've never beaten what's his face? Lingering Will or whatever. I beat him with save states, but as far as I'm concerned, that doesn't count. Ooh, corner only combo. Look at the damage on that. Time out. Look at the sheer power. Let me put my mouse on it. Look at her HP. My mouse visible. Look how fucking much health she just lost out of that combo. That hurts. Some SF2 characters are cool. Zangief gets the pass. I don't like him. I don't like fighting him. But I do think his design is good. Gao gets the pass for being iconic. So does Chun-Li, so do Ryu and Ken. But after that, it's harder. I don't need Bison to return every game, to be honest. I don't need it. I do like Balrog. He can come. I do like Vega too. He can also come. I would be a-okay with Fong making a return. I don't need Sagat, but he can come if he wants. I definitely don't need half the SF2 cast. Sim, don't need him. Blanca, don't need him. E Honda, don't need him. Who else? Cammy, don't need her. Fei Long, nope. T-Hawk, hell no. DJ, There's like 8 SF2 characters at most I would bring back. Having an Ed Bison would actually be super fun. I'm kind of down with that. I like how Cammy didn't even have a dive kick in SF2, and now the entire premise of her character is just like, hey, I have a good dive kick. It's not even I have a good dive kick in SF5, it's just that dive kicks are good and I have a dive kick. I much prefer Lion's main Akuma, to be 100% honest. I like the new original characters. Yeah, G is top notch. I like Abigail a lot. Real goofy. I'm glad that Capcom used Abigail to remind grappler players that they're drooling idiots. Capcom showed us Abigail, and they were like, this is you. Everyone who would play this character, this is what you are. You just play whoever has the biggest muscles. Even though he literally thinks he's a car. I don't want any of those guys. I wouldn't mind. Oh, no Daigo. I wouldn't mind Abel or Viper. How come Street Fighter gets Abigail? And then King of Fighters gets like Maxima. They get a cool fucking grappler. Big damage. Manat's pretty interesting, I feel. Beyond the fact that I want to fuck her. She's a very different take on Sim. We don't know Manat's age, I don't think. Most Street Fighter characters don't have canon ages. They used to. They theoretically still do. It's not super hard to figure out. All the SF2 characters in early versions of SF2 had their birth years given, and the game seemed to progress in real time until Street Fighter 3, which is set in 1999. For Third Strike. And Street Fighter 5 happens within a year before SF3. So for a lot of the characters, you can kind of figure out their age based on that. Oh. Oh. Mel is already about the same age in SF3 that he is in SF5. And the storyline events leading up to SF3 seem to immediately proceed. Or seem to be like happening in SF5. The 8's a bit strong. He doesn't look 8 to me. Uh. They're gonna do the same thing with Neo Shadowloo that they did with regular Shadowloo, which is nothing. We don't even know what Shadowloo is trying to do, and we definitely don't know what Neo Shadowloo is trying to do. We only kind of know people who are in it. To be 100% honest, there are guest characters in fighting games I like, but I feel like you sell your soul to have a guest character. Especially like a very blatant, like, cash grab character. If it's a character from another fighting game, I'm willing to forgive it. A really good example is Akuma in Tekken 7. Not only is he a character from another fighting game, and like drawing a bridge between the two fighting games, but also like, you know, they integrated him with the story and shit. But it was literally like, hey, check out other franchise. Or like, hey, we were paid this amount of money to get this character into the game. Those characters are awful. I'll give it maybe a pass if it's hilarious. I gotta admit, having a fucking, having a Battletoad in Killer Instinct is pretty funny. I'll give Geese a pass too. Geese is cool. Having one of your competitors in your game is just kind of cool. I don't care a whole lot if the character thematically fits, to be honest. It's nice when they do, but I don't. It's like it doesn't affect whether or not I think they're selling their soul to put the character in. Big damage. Look at all that stun. She's close. Regular throw here. Oh, close fierce. Both of them would have lost. Close fierce with a different timing could have beat that, I think. I said, hey, check out our other franchise, like that was bad. Like when they put Joker in MK11 just now. But I'm willing to have Yoshimitsu be in Soul Calibur. I think that one's okay. Don't ask me why one's okay and the other one isn't. It just feels, one feels better than the other. That being said, I was never that impressed by Heihachi in Soul Calibur 2. So Yoshimitsu, I think it's because Yoshimitsu's like written into the story. Makes it feel better. A guest character also being a DLC character feels bad. That one feels a lot more blatantly cash grabby. Arbiter Ram are also awful to me. Nice. Using the parry to get another parry because he didn't get a great punish there. Oh, that's tight to Link. That's a balls out play for Ken. That might have been a failed super. Oh, nice neutral jump. That looked like a low parry, maybe? Ken, did he not have the bar? It looks like he had the bar. Yeah, he did. What an unusual combo to go for. I never played the game, so even if I made it, it would just be shitty. See, the thing is, he's not really a guest. It's debatably not even, it's just, no, it's alright, it's just not even the same guy, it's just another character named Yoshimitsu. I'm not 100% sure whether Tekken and Soul Calibur are set in the same universe. It seems like no. But Yoshimitsu is a sign pointing to yes. Which Tekken had the Yoshimitsu that looked like a squid? Was that 6 or 7? I like that one. Nice. Empty jump heavy DP to catch a throw and to chip out if she didn't do anything. I remember Metal Slug. I remember playing Metal Slug X. My favorite Alpha game, like Street Fighter Alpha, Alpha 3. I'm glad for SNK that they made Metal Slug so that they can endlessly release it forever. You know what I mean? Have you ever noticed that? I'm so glad there's like 50 different ways to plug a box into my TV and get Metal Slug. Remember SVC Chaos and the Playable Martian? I called it a Martian. What were they actually? Did they have a name? They did, but I don't remember what it was. Mars people. Set in time? Yeah. I thought that was kind of suspect. I saw a Chun-Li freeze frame that I'd normally see. Again, chip out on block, kills if throw, and then beats anything button press. Remember just how big Hugo was in SVC? Nice. That was a dead OS. I see you, Ken. Ah. Remember Zero? It wasn't even just Zero. It was like Mega Man 0, 0 in SVC. That's a surprisingly great pick. That game should have been great. It certainly looked great. I've only played it one time. It was in an arcade. I put in a quarter. I picked Hugo. He didn't feel like they'd strike Hugo, and I didn't have a good time. Imagine owning a Neo Geo X. What do you think it's like? Oh, perfect. The God Shimmy. This Ken is good. Ibuki. Nice punish. Holy shit. Why'd that do so much damage? Jesus Christ. Good lord, dude. I know Ibuki has really low health, and I know that was crouching Ibuki. But that's like a 2-hit string. Doesn't that just seem like a whole... I mean, a 2-action string. Doesn't that just seem like a ton of health to lose? Jesus Christ. Yes. I said she was crouching. And yes, it does deal more damage if they're crouching. Wow. Good awareness to go for that. You see that on Wake Up a lot, but you rarely see it after a reset. That's smart. Remy's got the same HP as Chun-Li and Oro. He's just got a low stun bar. Second lowest HP in the game is probably Ibuki. It might be twins. I think it's Ibuki though. Nice. Ash Crimson doesn't exist. Didn't they address that? Doesn't Ash, like, I don't know. Isn't it like maybe Ash could come back? They always go surprisingly far with like this story mode stuff in King of Fighters games. And a lot of it I think most people will never see. They're also surprisingly consistent with their characterization of the KOF roster, which is kind of cool. Characters will like remember shit. Good fucking parry. That was scary. But I feel like a low strong was like the worst thing he could have gone for. Especially an uncancelled low strong. Rugel's dead, right? I don't actually know. Geese was killed in, like, Fatal Fury. But now it's literally like, yeah, Fatal Fury and King of Fighters are not the same universe. Team New Faces, Team Orochi. They were in stages and stuff in 13, I remember. Even though they're all supposed to be dead. Chris in particular is supposed to be very dead. I don't give a fuck if they bring Ash back. I don't need a reason. Just bring him back. It was the worst decision imaginable to make an entire race of Barakas. Baraka could have been a cool character, but instead he's Toad. It would have been a fine decision if they just stuck with it, but they didn't. Originally, it was like everyone from Outworld looked exactly like Baraka does, which is okay. You know, it's just that's what Outworld has instead of humans. They got Tarkatans. But now it's just like, oh yeah, not only does Outworld have humans, but they're actually way more populous than Tarkatans. So Baraka has like no identity on 2 levels. No way. That wasn't even meaty. What's funny is 9 was a canon reboot. And then again, so is 11. And it's looking like 12 will be too, based on the ending of 11. Literally anything can happen based on 11's ending. I do car throw quite often with Oro. I use the hard kick one. I don't do it every throw, but I do it a lot. I use it defensively a lot. Offensively, it's usually not a huge thing I do. And that's funny because normally people do offensive car throws and defensive regular throws. But defensive car throw I find really good for catching shimmy. Striker would have been the most forgettable Mortal Kombat character imaginable if not for the fact that he had such an annoying playstyle. In both Mortal Kombat 3 and 9. Wow. Good shit. Raiden's not even in my top 5 Mortal Kombat characters. I know them all, so I know all the cool ones. For example, post-free Ermac is extremely cool. Unfortunately, that didn't happen in the new timeline. Balancing of throws. Probably 5, yeah. And then 3 and then 4. 4 is the worst. In throws in 3, they have a role in the meta, which is nice. I like that a lot, because you can throw someone who's like who's looking for a parry. But throws are too unrewarding in this game, and in particular, there are some really stupid inconsistencies with throws. For example, my character has 2 back throws and no forward throw. That's kind of stupid. I also have a mash only throw. Oh, failed super maybe. Maybe he wanted the DP and he just thought it would hit. Whoa, that's a 1-frame punish. If Ryu did low forward fireball, wouldn't the fireball just hit Ken? That's what I always think when I see someone do that. Throws are like still rewarding in SF5, but they're not like in any way busted, and they reset to neutral, which I like. In this game, throws generally don't reset to neutral, but not being reset to neutral isn't as big of a deal. Oh, he went for it's still a punish, it's still a punish. Throws do too little damage in this game, especially if you have to use a mash though. Throw tags, it's all the same shit. You want to know the biggest downgrade in all of Street Fighter? In Street Fighter 3, Elena throw whiffs with her hand, with her foot, with her leg. And in Street Fighter 4, she throw whiffs with her hand. Throw softening. I don't want throw softening to ever come back. Oh, you threw 1 frame after this guy threw. So he's going to get like 100 damage and you're going to get none. Five does, the longer whiff is, I would say bad, and the no crouch tech is also bad. In terms of risk, it's probably 4 is the least risky, and then 5 is the most risky to tech throws. I don't mind no crouch tech on paper, but throw whiffs just take too long, I feel, and are too inoffensive. It was nice to have 2 different options to tech throws in Street Fighter 4, and how they both had like upsides and downsides. So it's like, if you crouch tech, you had half the throw whiff animation, and you had a hitbox during that, and it was a low hitbox that you could potentially even combo out of. But if you were trying to time it to tech a throw, you would have a lot less time. You were a lot less likely to break the throw. It was nice to have that control. Like, shimmies would lose to a crouch attack in SF5. I like MK throws and dislike them. I would say overall I dislike them. I feel like you should still be able to break a throw while blocking, to be honest. I don't like the coin flip aspect of throw breaking. I do like the idea of ducking throws, to be honest. Good fucking combo. He needed a full jump in to fucking get a kill there. He got it. I both like and dislike that throws are untechable while you're blocking. But I feel like it's a worst of both worlds. That you have reaction techable throws that also are a 50-50 to break. Like, even if you get thrown in Mortal Kombat, which is a mix-up in and of itself, breaking it is either front or back punch. And which one it is based on which direction they're throwing you. I don't mind crushing blows on throws, I don't think. If anything, I think it's kind of interesting. It's hard to say, though. All it does is basically just change the risk reward on throws. I wish I had different conditions than just being every single one is just like last throw was an escape failed. I feel like that's not a huge issue, the down 2 issue. I feel like it's an issue at low level play, to be honest. Down 2 is pretty risky. Unlike your other 3 crouching attacks, down 2 is actually standing. So you can even get thrown out of it. The opponent has to actually duck your throw and then down 2 in order to punish it. That DP wasn't actually too risky, that's funny. Damn, Scary Busey is a good name. I don't give a fuck about that. I like that, if anything. It's no different from having like a selectable super or selectable ultra. It's just more. It's more elaborate. When you're like choosing a fucking Ken SA3, you're choosing to not have Ken SA1. It's the same exact shit. It's just variations are doing that more. So it's more of a cross between a selectable super and actually having different playable characters. Yang is one of the easiest characters to get into in the game. It's not the easiest to play, but he's like one of the most straightforward. I like that. Awesome guy. You're selling me on it. That's one of my favorite things about it. That's why I think variations are interesting. Is it's a way to take a character and give him a new spin to make you analyze the loss and the gain. What's so conflicting about it? Or how is it? And what I should say is, how is it in any way different from choosing a super or choosing an ultra or choosing a groove? I think it's especially interesting because it's something that matters for all moments of play. I think ST sucks, but who can you blame it? It came out in like the fucking came out in like the early '90s or whatever. In MK11 specifically, characters are unbelievably bare bones without their variations. But in MKX, characters were quite complex even before their variation stuff. I don't know about that, just junky. But before they patched it a little bit, if you like play a copy that's never been online for MK11, their characters with like one special move or two special moves, I know, which is a bit ridiculous. Like Kano has no command grab. Oof. Sub-Zero is only the slide and the ice ball. Scorpion is only the spear and the teleport. Most characters have two special moves at most before the variations. I don't think that's really an issue because you're never playing the characters in the variation. But it means the characters change quite a lot when you're choosing variations. I think the bigger issue is just that the characters aren't super complex in general. MK11 has a much better designed core mix-up than X. So it's like good for balance, but it's bad for depth. I think 11's less interesting to watch than 10 was. But it's like miles better designed in terms of like balance. But of course gameplay is important for design too. Fun. And to me, 10 was more fun. I would say that 11 feels really good to play though. A lot of stuff that were a lot of stuff was very executionally shitty in MKX is now okay in MK11. 11 feels a lot better to play than it does to watch. Like micro dashes are everywhere in both games. You have to do like run stuff in MKX, and it feels like horrible to do run like short micro runs or like very precise runs. Like if you're doing like the backflip into a run-in on female characters as Cassie in MKX, that shit feels horrible. In MK11, forward dashes can be cancelled at any time into normal, so micro dashes are very, very easy to do, and they feel kind of good too. The combos themselves are less interesting, but like, I feel like a lot of combos are very unfun in MKX. They did a lot to make execution feel better. Executions feel grody in MKX. MK9 as well. MK11's like the first time it's felt kind of good. MK games aren't super execution heavy, but they definitely have like decently high ceilings on some characters. Ah, that could have been a combo. There are characters who are like that. I would say that, for example, Laura is very significantly different based on which V skill you pick. Also, G, and maybe also Rashid. Rashid and Ken, I'll say, are somewhat different. I like it being more overarching, so I like V skill better for being the bigger difference maker. Alex's combos change a lot. His neutral doesn't change a super lot, but it does change. It's cool seeing like just random fucking shit cancel to stomp from VS2 Alex. Random elbow into stomp and they try to punish the elbow and get smacked. Shit like that. I agree, that is dumb. No, you shouldn't even lose it. Fuck it. Let him keep it. He gets it up and he keeps it. Every other V-skill works like that. Alex is the only character in the game who loses a V-skill when he gets hit. Yeah, unlike G, he doesn't even get Oki. G could get his presidentiality up, and then he's still like +2 or +3 or whatever. Alex is like 0, and he doesn't have a 3 frame. So if Alex does like EX chop on you in the corner, and then he cancels it to V skill, you can wake up with a reversal 4 frame normal, and Alex literally cannot prevent that. The best he can do is trade with you. And if you have a 3 frame normal, you'll beat whatever he does. So he's literally sacrificing all Loki. Whoa. Yeah, it's crazy what they've given Abigail. And Alex isn't allowed to do that. Like, you look at Abigail fucking low strong, and then you look at Alex low strong. It's like, you can make this a little bit better. I think that's exactly the reason they could buff Alex, is because pokes work against his game plan. Even if his pokes are really good, they're not something he's necessarily trying to look for. I think that means they've got a lot of room that they could move him up without really making him broken. I think Alex is pretty mediocre right now. I think he's functional. But in terms of which characters in SF5 are disappointments, I would put him as like top 3. Every game gets tested. You think it should be public? Maybe. It'd be really fun if what you're talking about is Omega mode. If that's what you mean, then I'd be super down. If it's just like there's 2 ladders, and this one, or like if you're playing on like casual mode, you can play on either like, you know, casual with the main settings, or it's like these are the special moves we're playing around with. And then if something's well received, it's like, okay, this is going into the main game. Not really. They did some different things. There were air cancels in the beta, in the alpha, I should say, before we even got it. And I guess there were even on release too, on the same characters. Chun-Li still had an air cancel, it just ended up being jump strong into lightning legs. In fact, almost everyone with an air special move in SF5 has an air cancel. It's hard to think of a character who doesn't have one. Who's a character with an air special move and no air cancel? Akuma has jump strong. Jump strong is a float state and it cancels. You can go into Tatsu. He didn't have that at release, but he eventually got it. Sakura has it too. Ken doesn't, right? Ken doesn't have a float state on any of his air normals. None of them cancel into air Tatsu. All the other shadows can do that, but Ken can't. SF5 can? Yeah, in Trigger. He also has target combo into Fireball into Uppercut. He has that all the time. He's got the Step Kick into Uppercut. You've got like Juggles into Uppercut in the corner. You got Tatsu Uppercut, that works anywhere on the screen. Like fucking Akuma. The closest thing to a 3S Shadow is Akuma in SF5. If you want the Shadow experience, play Akuma. Nice combo. I've been watching on a-cho instead of Game Versus, so there's no commentary in these. Double overhead. Second one still a mix-up, but doesn't lead to anything. Jump medium kick. How often do you see that with a Urian? Kind of weird mirror. It's not super risky or anything though. I think if Chun-Li supered there, she would have landed in the mirror. I do think it's nice that Akuma has a lot of redundancy in SF5 compared to other characters. There's like 2 different things you can do in any combo. Dash block. Very nice. Close up unblockable. It's another one. So you have it. Dash headbutt. Yep. Ah. She parried a lot more than 2 times though. Very nice. Very delayed universal overhead. You wouldn't get any combo out of that, and it would be unsafe on block. But it was timed not to be a meaty, but to beat a tech, which is exactly what it did. I would say pretty much everyone is extremely different. I say take every new fighting game for what it is, though, to be honest. The characters all have, like, stuff... Oh, really? Wow. Gil's actually a legit answer. I don't know, Gil lost the headbutt. That's kind of big. But he's got the TCs and stuff. SF4 did a lot of innovating, honestly. But SF4 was like modernizing characters that hadn't been modernized in a long time for a lot of them. Like I've said this before, but SF4 was the first time most characters in the game ever had EX moves. I haven't touched Gil much. The exchange I make crouch jab +4. Soccer needs no help, to be honest. Maybe EX Tatsu could go through fireballs, but it's not like I need that. It would just be kind of cool. Right now EX uppercut goes through fireballs, but it'd be nice if I could use EX Tatsu as well. It would get me crouch jab into stand short. Right now I have to do crouch jab, stand short, and that only works if I'm like point blank. Crouch jab is my 3-frame, and right now it only leads into another crouch jab or a stand jab. And stand short has much better range. It makes combos much more consistent. It'd be nice if I could poke with my 3-frame in neutral and then get a stand short link afterwards, but right now it's counter hit only. Ooh, nice, and the reset. Very weird ender though. Whoa, he's gonna get smacked. Oh no, help! There's the whole Gane wasted. Anterior roundhouse. Oh, yeah. Once he ate that low forward, he was dead to chip. And being dead to chip is so awful versus Yun because dash punch is unreactable. I think Mei is extremely cute in Strive. That's all I know about it. Why, yes, it is. What the fuck? He tried to parry the last hit. He was like weirded out when it didn't happen. He should have backed up. What game is that? Is it like fucking uh Accent Core or something? I don't know when Guilty Gear games came out. Ooh. Nice punish. Nice link. That's scary to go for. Oh, get thrown. Yum. Yum! Oh, how do you fuck up the Gane that bad? Nice parry by the Chun-Li player on the install. When's my Capcom All-Star Battle? I played All-Star Battle a little bit, and I was like, this is cute, but it's so simple. There's no way there could be any depth to this game. And then later on, I watched a combo video for it, and I was like, holy shit. I've also watched gameplay of it, and it actually looks pretty good. Eyes of Heaven was an arena fighter barely disguised as a fighting game. All-Star Battle is more like a traditional fighting game. Anyway, I ended up looking at some footage of pro players playing it, and All-Star Battle actually looks really fun on a competitive level. I was watching a guy playing Poochie. Versus a guy playing like, I forget. He did. Frequently. And whenever he got all that shit going down, it was like an auto win button, as you would expect. It's a very interesting fighting game character. It was literally like Dark Phoenix. You have to like do the float away too, but there are ways to set that up. The amount of like work you have to do to actually get it. It's more like Phoenix, right? But yeah, it's a harder auto win than Dark Phoenix. But the amount of work you have to do to get there is more like Phoenix, right? It was cool they had the different fighting styles and stuff. It was cool to have Hamon and Stans and Vampire. The characters felt pretty unique. Even the Stan characters felt really unique. I was playing Avdol and he felt great. The meaty dash punch, that was cool. That was plus, I think. Super interesting tech. I've never been more afraid in my life than I am right now after reading that sentence. A fighting game with cards. That could be like super base, to be honest. That's, I mean, like I'm picturing Battle Network right now. That was an action game with like card playing in the middle of it. It would go back and forth between like, you know, action combat and then opening your menu and choosing your fucking hand. Battle Network was truly revolutionary. And it's a shame that nothing has ever come out of it except fucking one fan game. Gensokyo Network. Shanghai X. Yeah, One Step from Eden is, it seems to be a spiritual successor. I'm glad everyone all together realized that you can just make a sequel to your favorite game. And then just change all the names around and it's legal. That's what I'm doing right now. It's never coming out. I don't work hard enough on it. Shit will never have a release date. But it's fun to work on. If it's already making me happy, then what's the issue? Fast the hedgehog. Fast the porcupine. Fast the armadillo. Ooh, got it? Yeah. What about Sonic the Hedgehog, but the main character is a purple dragon? And also she's a cute girl. Wow, I was referring to an actual character. And I got two bad guesses. I was referring to Sash Lilac. Freedom Planet has 3 separate Sonics for you to pick. Just like Sonic 3 and Knuckles. It's been so long since I played Sonic 3, I actually don't remember what characters were playable. Was it just Sonic, Tails, and Sonic and Tails, or did it even give you a choice? I remember you put in N Knuckles, you could do Sonic, Tails, Sonic and Tails, or Knuckles. But I don't remember Sonic 3 letting you choose. But could you do them each individually? In Sonic 2, you were locked into Sonic and Tails, the pair of them. I remember that. Oh, that's good. I find the front half of Sonic 3 and Knuckles to be good, and the back half to be okay. The N Knuckles half is kind of shitty, I feel. I hate most of the worlds in it. I used to think that Sonic 3 and Knuckles was really good, but now I kind of feel like Sonic 2 is a bit better. I used to think Sonic CD was the best, but now I think it's kind of bad. My opinion on Sonic just dropped somehow over the years. But I never really fucked around with... I didn't play Mania. I'm one of those people who thinks that I don't think Sonic was ever that good. It's better than it's better than almost every platformer of the era. And they're like fun games to just play through. The way rings work is unbelievably forgiving, but that's not really an issue. But the only time the game really difficulty spikes is when there's no rings. Like at the last boss fight of Sonic 2, there's just not a ring in the stage at all. So you just die in one hit. So instead of having like near infinite hits, you have like, you know, one touch and you're dead. Makes it a lot harder. Get a combo? No. It's really hard to get a combo there. He might have been too far away. I like both adventure games a lot. I think I like 2 more, but it's hard to say. One has like kind of better design. Better and worse. One also has a more engaging story, I would say. You can't really ignore the awful parts of 2 because you're kind of forced into them, but they're not that awful. Like, there's nothing in 2 that's as bad as big stages. The hub is super awkward in Sonic Adventure, honestly. It's very, like, it's easy to get lost. It's easy to not know what the fuck you're supposed to go. There's like 4 spots in the game where it's literally like, how would I know to do this? Knuckle stages in Adventure 1 are trash. They're bad in 2 as well, but I don't mind them. I like Rouge stages more, but still, I only kinda... I think the treasure hunting is okay. It's like a nice diversion from just going fast. I'm kind of annoyed that there are so few Shadow stages when Shadow stages are like some of the best stages in the game. Sonic got a shit ton. Sonic has like 7 stages, and Shadow has like 4. It's like, fuck. They should have known that, like, you know, Sonic and Shadow were like the stars, and they should have made most stages for them instead of trying to balance it out. You can tell they didn't really care in Sonic Adventure, you know? In Sonic Adventure, they give Sonic like fucking like 15 stages for himself. It wasn't 15, I don't remember the number. It was like a shit ton, right? Sonic's campaign goes on forever. And then you play Amy's, and Amy has 4 stages. Right? Or is it 3? I think it's 4. And like Knuckles has like 4. And Big has like 4, and they're short. You can just beat them in like, you know, 30 minutes. You can literally just beat Big's campaign. Probably less than that. Probably like 15 if you're going fast. Yeah, Tails ones are very lazy, but they're also like some of the most fun, just purely because they're Sonic stages again, but with like a twist. Tails' mechanics make them feel really different, and they occasionally throw in parts that are like, you couldn't do this as Sonic, but you have to do it as Tails. Yeah, the on-rail segments of the 3D Sonic and 2D Sonic are really kind of, I don't know. It's fun, but it's not gameplay. I know exactly what you're talking about, Glar. And I agree. It's like, check out this cool thing we're gonna have Sonic do, and then do some platforming, and then check out this cool thing. It's like going back and forth, you know? EX Dash Punch. You don't really set up anything in Sonic for the cool thing to happen. You just get to the part of the stage where the cool thing is. I think I don't know how you would do this for Sonic, but in a better game you would have some kind of setup that you like, you know, find the route that it's like all continuous, so you're doing some crazy loop-de-loops or something, or like get enough speed or something like that. Unfortunately, I think Sonic actually had a fairly good transition to 3D with Sonic Adventure 1. I just feel like it's an uninteresting... It was like uninteresting before and uninteresting after. But I do like both 2D and 3D Sonic a bit. But it's like night and day to me if you ask me like whether 2D Sonic is good versus whether 2D Mario is good. Mario World is such a better game to me. Or like Yoshi's Island. The best main series Mario game. Part of me still wants to say 64. Galaxy is good. Odyssey is good. Both of those are very good answers. Galaxy 2 is also good. Also a good answer. You could say 3D Land. 3D Land is quite good. I probably wouldn't say Sunshine. I feel like there had to be... I think Odyssey would have literally been a better game if there was just something that wasn't moons that you were also getting. Because the fact that the main collectible that you have to get being single moons and like to advance the story and whatnot versus literally any like random thing you do being single moons, Like every now and then you get like a triple moon, but like it just feels like they should have had a different collectible for the main collectibles. It cheapens the moon so much. Odyssey definitely feels the most like 64. It feels really good, honestly. That's the biggest selling point, is the controls are fantastic. But the game being a treasure hunt is kind of weird. In 64, it's a little bit like a treasure hunt, but you're just hunting for a few specific things. But in Odyssey, it's like you're hunting like, I don't know. Yeah, the moons definitely have no substance. True beyond a shadow of a doubt. Wake up Gene? That is a very questionable play. Yeah, the main progression is strong. But the core gameplay being like hide and seek is very different from Mario 64. In Mario 64, you had a main thing you were kind of doing, but you were encouraged to explore around a bit. And you're still like, encouraged to explore around in Odyssey, but you're kind of like forced at gunpoint to explore around, or like you're missing a huge portion of the game by not exploring around. Odyssey is actually a lot more linear than 64. You've got story moons. In 64, you could get pretty much whatever stars you wanted after the first one. You need a lot of them, but you can get whichever ones you want. The only ones you have to get are like Bowser's Sub, Bob Battlefield. You don't even have to get that one because you can get the fucking Chain Chomp. But Mario Odyssey actually won't progress until you get specific moons. If you're going for 100%, it doesn't really matter which order you do things in. And I did 100% for Odyssey. I think most people did. Or they like, you know, they were getting everything they could find, rather. I both liked and disliked that it was always the roll of 2 with moons. If you like went into any fucking side area, there was always like a hidden moon plus the moon for beating the side area. It's always exactly 2 moons in every single like pipe. Delfino Plaza might as well have been the level in and of itself with how much shit was in it. I think that's super good design. The levels in general in Sunshine were super good. It's just that they, like, the jumping through hoops in that game was really awful. Particularly the blue coins, but not even just that. There was a lot of stuff that didn't have to be shitty that was in Sunshine. Like, you had 2 separate missions on the hotel stage where you were doing, like, just cleaning up the outside. One time there's just a bunch of goop there, and one time it's like a weird ray thing. Or like the thing when you're collecting red coins, riding on the fucking leaf. Or like the pachinko. A lot of things were just very shitty to do. I feel like Mario Odyssey is an entire game of that one part. It's like, what if you made it like that? Like, you know, the one part of an platformer where you hate replaying it. Sunshine's whole game is that. There's some stuff that's super cool, but a lot of it's just chores. Get Yoshi to a weird place. Find Yoshi, get him the fruit, get him underneath the fucking stage. Shoutouts to Mario Sunshine only having 1 stage with a pit. How about that? How about a Mario game without pits? Ugh. I never got 120 shines on Sunshine. My favorite parts of Sunshine were where they took Flood away. I think I've said this on stream, but the thing I really like about Odyssey was that the new tools they added work in conjunction with your existing tools. Like in Mario 64, you have you have a bunch of useful stuff. You have a lot of different ways of moving from point A to point B that are all pretty viable. And the only stuff that's kind of not useful is like your punch, or like your trip, or like certain B moves. But pretty much everything involved with A was quite useful. Versus like, yeah, it's the only one I've seen. Or it's like one or two I've seen, I think. In Odyssey, it feels like, what they add? Like the roll? That feels to work well with Mario's existing kit. Or like, the ground pound into jump or the ground pound into roll to get you instantly to max jump height or instantly to max roll speed. And the hat double jumps. It felt like everything in Mario Odyssey was working in conjunction with Mario's mechanics. And I feel like Flood did the opposite of that. Flood annulled Mario mechanics. You had all the state and controls from Mario 64, but half of them you don't need to use because Flood jumps were just better. Pivot jump, wall jump, fucking Flood. Solve all fucking jump platforming in the game. I didn't mind Galaxy's linearity. In fact, if anything, I kind of liked it. That game doesn't have to be a fucking sandbox. I think I like the sandbox of Mario 64 more, but I like them both. The spin was nice and new, but it especially shined because of the... Oh, are we talking about the spin jump from Sunshine? Or are you talking about the one from the spin, just the little spin attack from Galaxy? The spin in Galaxy feels like it's like just it's patching up the bad controls. I think Galaxy has good controls, but just the way that the planets work mean that you're often running in a direction that maybe wasn't the direction you want to run. You just got an angle that wasn't quite the angle you were looking for. And spin just gives you a ridiculous amount of freedom to adjust your existing jump angle. Like more than the Flood. But Flood lasted a lot longer. It was really smart. I think it was a very good way of like giving players back control. They did what they were trying to do with Mario Galaxy was really hard to do. Is to have it so that no matter what part of the planet you are and what part of the where you were relative to the camera, the direction you would... Oh no, that dash was an accident! The direction would make sense if you were trying to go a particular direction on the planet. Moving the joystick would make you go that direction. Like if Mario's standing on the bottom of a planet facing the player, what should hitting up do? You know? That's the question that Galaxy sought to answer. That's super hard to program. I wake up low short super. I like that. Catch the shimmy. I feel like they did a really good job on that, and I've also played some games that did a really bad job on that. For example, Sonic Lost World. What's another one? I definitely played some game. Oh, Sonic Adventure. I'm sure you guys have played Sonic Adventure 2, right? Some of you. The fucking the planets in the collecting stages near the end. Like Rouge's last level. I didn't play that much of Sonic Lost World, but it was a pretty good game. Anyway, that was like an experimental version of that. It was like fucking, you know, you were always running in directions you didn't mean to. In that game. When you're running around the planets. Playing Mario Galaxy and seeing them actually kind of nail it is super impressive. If you ever get to like the seam of a planet in Sonic Adventure 2, and you're holding one direction, the character's running in circles, Oh. Jesus Christ, this Ken. Oh, the red. He blocked the DP and then red parried the second hit. Probably an accident. Galaxy is a GOAT, I think. It's hard to say. I wouldn't probably call it. I personally wouldn't call it the best Mario game. I would say 64 Odyssey is the best Mario game, if you were asking me. But Galaxy would probably be the third. Galaxy's good at a lot of other shit too, honestly. Rosalina's storybook is very charming. The aesthetics are really nice. It's got great fucking music. It is truly refined. Ooh, the rose trade. Which one? Gusty Garden, I think. The song for Gusty Garden is truly like one of the greatest video game songs I've ever heard. All the music is really good, but good lord, that one's fucking incredible. Again? I gotta play Odyssey on stream, that would be fun. My only lament is how long it would take to get all the moons on stream. Yeah. There's only one moon I hated in Odyssey, and it wasn't even that bad, but I did hate it. It was the one where you play volleyball. It was boring. It was boring and tedious, and also there was the danger of dropping the volleyball. So it was like stressful and boring and tedious. It was like a legendary combination of bad. You should play Donkey Kong 97. That's a Mario game on Game Boy, and holy shit, it's good. I wouldn't fuck around with Mario Land 1. It's just a bad. It's a better Super Mario Bros. Like the original Super Mario Bros. It's got some neat stuff to it. Donkey Kong 97 is like actually one of the best games Nintendo's ever made. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. It is the perfect puzzle platformer. It is like the quintessential. It perfectly blends puzzling and platforming. And the controls are literally like a 2D version of Mario 64, which is really interesting. Oh, Donkey Kong 94. My bad. I remember the year. 97's kind of late. 97 it would have been a Game Boy Color game. Whatever, the game is just called Donkey Kong. It fools you for 10 seconds into thinking it's a remake of Donkey Kong. I can't believe that there was a Game Boy Advance version of the original Donkey Kong NES game. Literally like 3 levels or 4 levels or whatever. I don't remember how many the NES version had. I think it only had 3, but I don't know how many were in the Game Boy Advance version. NES Classics Donkey Kong for 3 fucking levels. And there's meanwhile a Game Boy game that's like 100 levels or whatever. Super Mario Land 1 is definitely weapons grade nostalgia. Wario Land is super good if you never played those. The Wario Land games are all worth playing. 3 and 4 get a special thumbs up from me. And technically there's also another one on Virtual Boy, but most people haven't ever and won't ever play it. I remember beating Wario World, and I got 100% on it, and I never played it since. I remember liking it a lot, but I don't remember much about it except the fucking one boss fight where you fight like a dinosaur in a wrestling arena or something. I had a good time with it. KKZ, baby! He tried to jump over it. I don't think he was dead to chip, and it looked like he jumped post-freeze. I think that was just a really bad decision. I think he could have blocked that and then supered. I've never played it, and I don't think I've ever seen DK Jungle being played. No, it was on a machine in like a GameStop. They had like the bongos, but I didn't play it. Was there a single other game you could use those bongos for? Probably not, right? Donkey Konga. Oh, is that the... Oh, yeah. I forgot all about that shit. Nice anti-air. Why is Akuma so cheap? Why can't anyone just do shit like that? Oh, that was parry into car throw. These players are so good. Oh, wake up DP again. Hell yeah. Akuma's got everything in this game. And more. Akuma's teleport is the game's only teleport. Demon Flip is quite frequently used. Teleport less frequently. That was a punish. The thing about Akuma's teleport is that once he starts moving, any super animation will cancel the teleport. And it will put him into the, like, when the teleport recovers, it puts him into that recovery state. Fun fact, even Elena's healing and Remy's Blue Nocturne will cancel the teleport. But of course you don't get a punish. No, it's not a fair exchange at all. Akuma's a good character. I shudder to think of what Akuma would be like with EX moves. Teleport's not like super good in this game. It's nice that he has it. He gets to avoid some scenarios that other characters don't get to avoid. But generally speaking, it's not that useful. As Oro, I can chase it down almost all the time. And I can often chase it down with a close strong. And if I land a close strong versus Akuma, I literally win. Like a confirmed close strong. I either get a 70% combo, or I get a full super bar, depending on how much meter I start with. And then if I get a full super bar, my next stand strong leads to a 70% combo. So it's like, you know, you really don't want to ever be punishable as Akuma. Imagine actually owning that GameCube controller that has the full keyboard in the middle. I'll play. Nice. Great block, great punish. He's looking pretty dire for the HP though. Wake up DP here. I can't believe he didn't. I would have. I would have wake up EX DP into a fucking super and just chipped Ken out. He's not parrying that. Nice red. That could have been a super. The reload strong is a super confirm. Goal. Oh, that was one. That was another. They might have both been too far away. I don't think so. Nice. Ken dashed in. Black Ken dashed in. Yellow Ken was actually threw him before his dash could finish. That was a really quick reaction. Nice. Double DP? No. It was. I think it was possible there. I don't know. He got the first DP kind of low. It definitely required the car if it was possible at all. but it might have been impossible even with the Kara. Oh, perfect. You can do dash DP there, but it's nightmarish on the hands. It's Ken's hardest executional thing that I'm aware of. Nice. Like, I did like a zillion Kara DPs to make the Ken third strike tutorial. But I literally could not even get one fucking cross up EX Tatsu dash DP DP. Nice. God, fuck. I had a GameCube controller that literally, like, it was so weird. It was like this tiny little purple thing. It had no joystick. It was missing a bunch of buttons and, like, whatnot. And then it had, like, a Z... It had, like, a... 2 shoulder buttons. Like, 2 Z buttons. I don't remember. Like, one of the shoulder buttons was different on one side or something. It had a button... No, it had a select button. That was it. It had a select button. Which the GameCube controllers doesn't actually have. And I thought it was, like, the weirdest controller ever. It's like, what is this for? And somehow it never occurred to me that it could be a Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Player controller. And I ended up donating it. And then I recently found out that it's worth a fortune. It's Japan only. I bought it at a flea market for like $3. And then I donated it to get rid of it. And then I found out it was worth like 300 bucks. I was like, oh. Easy come, easy go, right? I didn't lose any money. But I could have made a lot. I wish I never found out. I actually still own a Game Boy Player, and they're worth a fortune right now. It seems like the main people buying them are speedrunners and shit. Not only do I have the Game Boy Player, but I have the disc, and the disc is seen to be a lot more valuable, I think. Because the Game Boy Player doesn't work without the disc. And most of the eBay listings are just the player and not the disc. Oh, you want it? I don't know. I would put it on eBay. You can bid on it if you want to. I haven't done that yet. I should. I don't know if the value's going to go up. I've just had it sitting in a drawer since I bought it. I literally never hooked it up. Not even once. I bought it because I figured I would one day care about that stuff. I was like, GameCubes aren't expensive. I had a Wii at the time and no GameCube. I already have every GB game ever on, like, a million other things. My PSP. I actually have 2 portable emulation consoles sitting on my desk that I was going to do unboxing videos for just to fuck around. I thought they were cute and novel. Remember that weird thing I put a video on? The retro whatever? Retro portable? By that point, I'd already bought 2 from, like, China. And, I was like just gonna do unboxing videos for them. Now I've got them, but I haven't done the video yet. It would take me like no time at all. It's just that I've got a bunch of shit on my desk, and I don't want to record on my desk with a bunch of shit on it. Wow! Whew, what an anti-air. Like art, dude. Beautiful. Oh, I feel like I'm hot shit because I do dash under stand strong. This guy does dash under demons. Reversal something got stuffed. I actually owned, I think I've sold it now. I had a Wii. I had 4 separate GBA connectors. GBA GameCube connectors, and I have 2 Game Boys. So if I get 2 people to bring Game Boy Advances, I can get a full 4-person game. And my friends have Game Boy Advances or had them. So we actually did it one time. We got a 4-man, 4 Swords Adventures. It was fun. It was super fun. Yeah, you'll never have that shit set up again. Well, you could. I don't know what it's like to emulate. Probably impossible, right? I have no idea. I think you needed multiple Game Boys, didn't you, to actually do four-player mode? I think you could just do two-player mode with two controllers, but I think with four-player mode, you need actual physical Game Boys. What were they thinking with that game? It's still a decent game if you're playing solo, honestly. In fact, it's better than decent. It's actually a really good game if you're playing solo. But the four-person mode really fucking makes it crazy. Oh, that was perfect. It's range-based OS, I think. Gold Ken walked into, maybe. Picto Chat was fun as fuck. I have like a vivid memory of my friend coming over to my house, and he had like a DS and I had a DS. And he like went into the bathroom, right? And then we were talking about Picto Chat or something, and we were like already Picto Chatting a little bit. But then while he was in the bathroom, he like went into the fucking Picto Chat lobby while I was just sitting in it, and I saw him there. We Picto Chatted back and forth to each other. Kind of gay. I remember being in high school and people were right when the DS came out, and the people were Picto Chatting to each other in class. It was like right when the DS Lite came out, I think. Remember when Diamond and Pearl came out? I do. I remember one of my friends literally was like, hey, wanna fucking Deoxys? And I was like, do I? And then he showed me his box and he had like 5 Deoxys and 4 Jirachis. I was like, bruh. He probably just hacked them into his game or got them from someone who hacked them into their game. I mean, obviously that's what happened. But at the same time, it was like, cool. Before, like, Gen 5, legendaries were just a thing you only heard about, you know? All Pokemon, all mythical Pokemon were just, uh, actual events. Take your Game Boy to, like, a weird place. Pokemon Center in New York. And then there's, like, a fucking kiosk where you plug in and it puts the Pokemon in your game. It wasn't until they started doing it like GameStop and stuff that people actually like got legendaries for themselves legitimately. Almost every legendary prior to then was like hacked. Like for every legitimate Mew, there were probably like 1,000 fake Mews. And then Game Freak finally brought it to the people around I think Gen 5, Gen 4, Gen 5. A lot of the mythical Pokemon are really interesting too. That's a shame. Wake up hard DP. They actually just removed the event Celebi from Crystal entirely, which kind of sucks. I was just like, oh, I'm just going to hack the GS ball into my inventory, and then I'll do the event to get Celebi. And then it turns out the event just is like not in Crystal at all. It's only in Gold and Silver. Remember the GS ball in the show? Ash gets a GS ball, and it's like, what does it do? And it's like, it has some involvement with fucking stuff. I don't know. And then he meets Kurt, and it's like, give the GS ball to Kurt, he'll figure it out. And then it literally never came up again. They just build something up and then they write it out of the script. It's because they had a movie involved with Celebi. And so, like, they didn't... The GS Ball was going to be about Celebi, but then they already did Celebi in one of the movies. So they're like, fuck it. God, I hate Ash so much. The Pokemon anime is so shitty. And it's mostly because of a terrible shonen protag. Maybe the worst shonen protag of all time. I want... I know that it's tired and cliche to have a shonen protagonist become broken. But the alternative is so much worse. Of a shonen protagonist who remains shitty the entire series. In part, in Gen 6 anime, people were so mad about the way it ended and Ash failing to like win the fucking event or whatever that they like wrote in Gen 7's anime that he does. So like Ash wins the league or whatever in Gen 7. Everyone was pissed. I never heard about people even watching the fucking Pokemon anime still until I heard about how fucking negatively received the Gen 6 anime was. It like set everything up perfectly with his like unique Greninja and shit like that. And then the person he loses to has like a fucking, what is it? I don't even know. I never watched it. He has like a Latios and like a Darkrai or something. Like straight up just legendary Pokemon. How cheaped out would you feel if you cared about that? I didn't care about it. But hearing about it, it sounded so awful. To be like, fucking, this is the time the protag actually finally wins. And then it's like, no. Fucking some guy just brought a bunch of legendaries and kicked his ass. Like that. Valuable chip. Oh, never mind. Not valuable. Good punish, holy shit. I usually get those punishes myself, but it's like, you know, every time you miss it, you can't really react. Dude, the actual Pokemon card game league just got won by like a 7-year-old. So literally the answer is in Pokemon, does a 10-year-old win a world championship? In Pokemon, does a 7-year-old win a world championship? That's true. That 7-year-old probably had a hella meta deck. Imagine going to an MTG event or like a fucking Yu-Gi-Oh event or something. And you get the finals and you get put up against a 7-year-old. It's like, she's see me on the playground, kid. No, I think it is divided by age brackets, but I think there was like an unbracketed one. Don't quote me. I thought that was an unbracketed one, the 7-year-old one. Like there's one for like youths and one for everyone or something. What's his name? Karwakin? Karyakin? I don't remember his name. There's like a Russian chess prodigy who was a chess grandmaster at like 12. You always hear about shit like that with chess. Chess is like the game for that. Ooh. That killed. Jesus Christ. Yang. I wish I knew more about Pokemon cards so that I could show off what little I do know about Pokemon cards, because I always find it really hilarious. The way prizes work in Pokemon is so different. The way Pokemon in general works is so different from at launch. At launch, Pokemon, the strongest cards had like 120 HP and about 100 damage. Now you've got cards that are basics with like 270 HP. The way prizes work is super weird. There are mons in current Pokemon cards where you kill them and you get like 2 prizes or 3 prizes. Because they're like that hard to kill and that strong and set up that quickly. That's just how the meta works. The thing that's really weird is like you think it would be like play a Bulbasaur, evolve to Ivysaur, evolve to Venusaur, and then Mega Evolve an Oro. But every Mega Evolution is like a basic. It's like you literally just play like Mega Venusaur. Isn't that like why'd they do it like that? But already like stage 3 cards are super hard to actually get to. Because you need to have the associated basic and you have to evolve twice. Or you have to like use a card to evolve twice in one turn. You need to have like the fucking, let's say the Bulbasaur, and then like either an Ivysaur and a Venusaur and 2 turns to set up. Or you need to have, let's say so, like a Pokemon breeder or whatever. Some trainer card that lets you skip an evolution. And then you still need the Venusaur. I don't know what the current system is. I think they're Dynamax Pokemon cards. They had some other system that was like that, but not yet. And then they had Megas as well. But there's still like, there's like 6 different ways to have a double prize card. Ooh, this could be the end of it. This is that Oro. Oh, that's why that setup sucks. He had enough screen position that he could have done the traditional setup. Cool pickup. And there's like Pokemon cards that are 2 Pokemon. Which is kind of funny. Like technically, I think there was one of those. There were like a couple of those. There was Moltres, Articuno, and Zapdos, but I don't think that was ever a legal card. But now there's like a bunch of weird dual cards that you wouldn't think that are actually like playable. Jesus Christ. What's the one? Look up Zoro and Celebi. This is not a legal card and will probably never, like, you know, it was never intended to be a legal card. But like, look it up. Someone get the effect. Someone look up Zora and Celebi. And post the effect here, because it's like the most hilarious card I've ever seen in a card game. It fucking blows Imakuni's Doduo out of the water. Fuck. What a truly great card. You could switch back and forth. I don't know how the turn order would work. It's like the Zoro and Celebi just acted, so it should be the other player's turn. But the other player is the person who used Zoro and Celebi to switch sides. It's a very stupid card. Remember Your Name's Chansey? Blank's Chansey? It was during the gym leaders stuff. They had like gym leaders so and so, Blaine's Arcanine and all that. But one of the cards was literally it had a blank slot to write in your name. It was you, the player. It was your Chansey. That card's probably worth a fortune on eBay now. I can't believe Oro was on the screen for a sec. Now he's gone. That could have been a sweet punish. The Tatsu was probably worse. There are cards that are famous because they're busted. Wasn't there like a Black Lotus or something? Wasn't that a thing? Wow, cool combo. First and last state gives you a juggle state. A workable juggle state. I remember the list of banned Pokemon cards. One of them was Sneasel. Sneasel had a move, I think it was like beat up, and it did 20 damage times flips. And the flips was the number of cards on your bench or something like that. And the thing about that is you can, like, the card costs like 2 energy to use. And you can literally on like your first or second turn have like a full bench. Like, it's not very hard to fill up your bench. You can have a full bench before the match technically starts. Just a whole bunch of basics in your deck. So this card could do up to like 120 damage on like turn 2, which was a lot back then. And the average damage was like half that, which was still a lot for turn 2. Most basics don't even have fucking 70 HP. Oh, you went for that's a big dick combo that you went for. It's not super hard, but it's really risky if you fuck it up. Wake up, demon. Oh. I miss Fat Pikachu. Hamtaro recently came back for something. And the new Hamtaro design is beyond cancerous. And people were talking about it a little bit. It was like people who never gave a shit about Hamtaro, which is almost everyone. It was just like, hey, did you see this fucking new Hamtaro design? Nice. That was another unsafe universal overhead. Why is his body so small? He looked like a hamster before. I like when I see all those soulless redesigns. It's funny. It was a mistake to have Pokemon say their own names. Pikachu in itself was a mistake. Hi. Pokemon Origins fucking anime was what I always wanted the Pokemon anime to be. And it came out fucking 20 years too late. I'm mostly just frustrated that Pikachu isn't a good Pokemon. To be 100% honest, like, Pikachu is a Pokemon that people occasionally use in the meta. Just because the Light Ball is such a good item. And Light Ball only even exists because Pikachu is a famous Pokemon. But man, even at level 100, Pikachu is a bad mon. Put it like that. Pikachu cannot eat any hit. I'm pretty sure Raichu is a better mon than Pikachu in the meta, but they're both, like, unbelievably shitty. Anyway, I'm talking about the meta, but I mean even in regular gameplay, Pikachu is a very bad mon. Nice. Most people don't have a Light Ball. And most people don't have, like, a fucking Volt Tackle Pikachu. You know? Even in casual play, Pikachu is, like, frustratingly shitty. To be, like, the fucking mascot of the series. It's not even good with Light Ball and Volt Tackle. It can't switch in, and it's not that fast. They actually sped it up like a gen ago. It was, like, base 90 speed, which is not that fast. And now I think it's base 100, which is also not that fast. It's just weird that the anime is like, oh, Ash is a good trainer and he made his Pikachu work. And then you play the game and it's like, wow, Pikachu kind of sucks. Just makes me resent Ash. Electrode is probably better than both of them. But it's hard to say. It's definitely a lot weaker. It's a lot faster. Electrode is definitely not a good mon. Don't get it wrong. The set I always used to see for Electrode was like a rain setter. It's like the only thing it's kind of good at. Is that, like, you know, you got the Thunder Abuse if you ever get the rain up and they don't kill you. And if they do kill you, it's whatever. You just lead with it and you set up rain. And it's fast, so nothing will outspeed you and taunt you. Electrode is really fucking fast. It's one of the fastest Pokemon. But, like, why would you ever have that and not, like, a better rain setter nowadays? It, like, in the bottom tiers, it's like get up the rain, then die. And that way, something with Swift Swim can come in. Your fucking Basculin or whatever. The Let's Go version of Pikachu is actually really good, yeah. But it's more like the Let's Go meta is really stupid. The Eevee's better than the Pikachu. In Let's Go, they removed, like... They removed items, so you can't cure status. And they also removed all status cure moves. For example, Aromatherapy and Heal Bell. So the only way to heal status is a move that Eevee has. That's, like, exclusive to Eevee. There's a lot of stuff like that. Sword and Shield I haven't played. They look kind of good. I don't care about Dexit. I think Dexit was inevitable. Eventually they're just going to have too many mons to bring them all back. I don't think it was necessarily now, but the fact that I think it was inevitable means I don't care that much that they finally did it. I definitely think they could have had all the mons in Sword and Shield if they wanted to. I think the new Pokemon are pretty good, to be honest. I think that Snom is the cutest thing ever. I think that Santa Scorch is super badass. I really like Flapple. And what's the other one? Appleton. Appleton is cute. No cool water type. The sheep is cute. Let me think. What's the water types now? God, I can't even bring a water type to mind immediately. And Celeon. He's definitely not cool. Inteleon. um, what are the fucking water types of Sword and Shield? See, I didn't play it, so I don't know off the top of my head. I like know all the mons theoretically because I play on Showdown. Oh, Aracuda, right? Barrascuda. Those two. They're good to use. They have like min-max stats for a single player playthrough. It's like all a shit ton of attack and a shit ton of speed and nothing else. Ooh. The Crow is super badass. The Crow is a top 10 Pokemon design for me. My only thing I didn't know about it was it's fucking huge. When I saw all the art, I was like, oh, look at it, it's cute. And then you see it in game, it's like 7 feet tall. It's like, Christ. In modern Pokemon, 20 is a very low level. So Magikarp, evolving Magikarp is not a huge issue. Especially when the EXP share exists. Getting Gyarados used to be a fucking mark of commitment. But in more modern games, it's so fucking easy. Nice. Big brain. There was no escaping that. He was dead. He was dead to the first hit of chips, so he couldn't even red parry. Stop using Gyarados. I like never use Gyarados in any game. He's okay. He's quite good. I think it's 500. Nice. There are a lot of cool water types. Granted, a lot of them are kind of end game. It's hard to get an early game Staryu. When do you get the good rod? Once you get the good rod, you can get like Poliwag and Krabby and stuff. Rods always take too long to get. Starmie's fucking good. Starmie's one of very few mons that have been like broken in every game. It's fast as fuck. It's quite strong, and it's got a good move pool. The type is really unique too. It's bulky enough that it can live some hits. So like you can switch it into fighting moves without too much trouble. It's water psychic. Oh, you're talking about Oshawott. Water monotype is not a huge issue, honestly. People act like it's a bigger deal than it is. It makes Pokemon more forgettable, but doesn't really make them bad. Kirby's cool. Oh, you think Gyarados is so much better because it's part flying, even though it has literally no flying moves. Poliwag's got a good move pool. So does Staryu. If Gyarados was made today, it would 100% be Water Dragon. Charizard would probably be Fire Dragon. Dragon is not the sacred thing it used to be. Evidence Duraludon. Evidence that fucking fire turtle thing. I just picked the fucking first game I could think of, which was Gem 1. I don't know the fucking fishing mons in any game. The Dragonfly Pokemon isn't Dragon type. The only Dragonfly Pokemon I can... Wow, it's Super 2. The only Dragonfly Pokemon I can think of is the Flygon line. And they are Dragon types. Oh yeah, and Mega. Yeah, that's a Dragonfly too, isn't it? In fact, actually, Flygon's line is technically not Dragonflies. They're a very close relative. Yeah, and Mega's really good. Yeah, and Mega's like, how do we... Is it possible to make a bug flying type broken? And they did a pretty good job. It's definitely a quite good mon. Super 2 Akuma is weird as fuck. Surskit Line is forgettable because it stops being an interesting type. Bug Water is super cool and really good. Now there's other Bug Water types, so you can just use them. Like the one with the water bubble. What's that Pokemon called? It's got Liquidation as one of its moves. Surskit just, like, it's like super cool, and then it just evolves into a fucking bug flying type. It's like, okay. Thanks for taking away the only cool thing about you. So at the end of the day, it's just a bug flying type with Hydro Pump. Get that chip, baby. He should have started with the parries and then shifted to blocking. Or he should have tried to parry the whole thing. Ibuki was pretty high up, so he could have done a post-freeze parry pretty easily. Look at that. Oh, where'd the health go? Nice. Keeps it safe, baby. Smart. Gigantamax actually doesn't take the Pokemon and make it big. That's Dynamax. Gigantamax takes the Pokemon, gives that new form, and makes it big. Nice. Good clutch there. Ah, beautiful. It's cool seeing a SA2 Akuma. I think this is usually seen as being its worst SA. It might be better than SA3. It's hard to say. The invincibility is much more workable. SA3, I don't know if it has any invincibility at all. And doesn't really have a great hitbox in its early frames. It's not really good as an ATR like you might think. Neither of them are. The best ATR is ironically SA1. Nice. That was probably still a punish. I don't even think about D-Max anymore, or G-Max, because it's banned in competitive, and so I never see it, because that's my only exposure to the game. That was maybe her boyfriend, or maybe her friend. I don't remember her being thirsty in this game. I think that's something they added retroactively to SF4. Her plot in SF3 is like she's a ninja, but she wants to be an ordinary high school girl. And they kept that for SF4, but it was like, you know, it's earlier, so she hadn't met the guy yet or something like that. Uh, he didn't dare with the air normal. Maybe he was afraid that Chun-Li would kick him. I think they were just trying to retroactively add a conflict that could be resolved by the time she's actually appeared. And it's like, well, she's younger, so what's something that, like, wouldn't have happened yet? That has happened by SF3. I think. I'm not even sure of that. Because she might actually still be hunting for a boyfriend in SF3. I don't remember. An arubaito, as they say in Japan. What the fuck, Kikoken? Nice parry. Holy shit. Balls out. I guess it wasn't that risky because it was fucking no meter Chun-Li. Ryu literally does not know what a woman is. But I would like that. Super here? No. I would have done a super. Oh, you know, he had the meter for both. That was EXDP into super. Christ, that was good. Imagine the smell. Bit awkward there. Both of them are like, what the fuck is going on? I didn't think that was the link. He got it. Good parry. He used the parry to walk in. I would use the parry to get a poke. That's why these players are better than me. That's true. It canonizes that Ryu bathes. At least a little bit. Now Akuma I'm not sure about. Perfect placement of that hard kick. He probably could have mashed a little bit more of that for free damage. I think he thought Ken was going to land in the middle of it. When you're hitting the opponent with the air-to-air super with Buki, the opponent falls gradually as they're getting hit by it, and the speed at which they fall is based on which character they are, and it's also based on how many of the kunai you're hitting, like whether directly in the line or not. So he could have gotten a whole bunch of hits there. He could have mashed out the extra waves, but he didn't, because he was thinking that Ken was going to land after the 3. And once Ken lands, he's invincible, and then he can get up. And he would like get up as Ibuki was like recovering from the super. So Ibuki wouldn't necessarily be punishable, but she wouldn't be plus. So he stopped early to ensure that he got the Uki. I am ready for a video game joke. So characters fall like crazy when they're eating Ibuki's air super. I think Ibuki herself is one of them. Damn, a stun with regular fucking Rekkas. The World Warrior is late for their match because they're jet-lagged from plane ride. Huh? Ah, that kind of joke. Haha reference that is treated as humor. Reference to mechanics. What if video game was real life? Like that. Sega All-Stars fighting game. Starring Sonic the Hedgehog, Ai from Monkey Ball, and Beat from Jet Set Radio. And Alex Kidd from Alex Kidd. And Knights. Who are some other cool people that could be in there? Does Shining Force have a representative of any kind? All I know about Shining Force is there are centaurs. I played Shining Force 1 on Genesis like 20 billion eons ago. Kid Chameleon. Sure. Sega actually has hella characters. This could work. It would be better than the Sony one. Put it like that. I don't know any Fantasy Star characters except the ones in online, and online is like pretty removed from the RPGs as I understand it. If it was online, it would probably be Sue. No, it'd be the fucking pink robot. What's her name? Eleanor? It would be her. She's probably the most iconic character from the story mode. But that's like a joke because, like, you know, no one would recognize her. Actually, a lot of people would recognize her, but they wouldn't recognize her by name. They'd recognize her as PSO robot. It could be Red Ring Rico. You know what's kind of funny about Red Ring Rico? Red Ring Rico is a human female hunter. That's something you can't actually make in-game. You can make a human male hunter. You can make a Newman female hunter. But you cannot make a human female hunter. Nice. Yes. Yes. I love that combo. If you get a dizzy with towards hard kick in the corner, you get a very workable juggle state. God, that combo's hilarious. You can do 6 of those. He made a tier list. Let me see it. Just someone plays Chun-Li, so he probably put Chun-Li as number 1. Just Among's tier list is going to be mostly the standard 3S tier list, but it's going to have some wacky thing. Just one. It's going to be like Akuma top 5. Oh, he fucking... It's a YouTube video. Alright. Go to end. This is not quite aligned properly, but we'll live. Okay, so we got Yun and Chun-Li in top spots, and Chun-Li's first, but I don't know if that means anything. He put Necro real high. Ken, Makoto, Yang, Dudley, Akuma, Yuri, and Necro. Normally you would maybe see Ryu and Oro here, but apart from that, that's the standard list. Ryu and Oro, a little bit lower. That's fine. Elena, Ibuki, Hugo. Okay, he thinks those three are real good. You might see people put Hugo... This is about where you would see Hugo. You'd see Hugo either at the tail end, the ass end, or you'd see him, like, maybe, like, here. Some random spot between those two is where people think Hugo is. Alex trash, Q trash, Sean trash, 12 trash, Remy trash. This is a pretty good list, in my humble opinion. I would put Makoto directly after Ken. Yeah. Necro being that high is pretty weird, but if you're going to put any low tier in A, it would be Hugo, Q, or Necro. It would be one of those three. So, like, you know, the fact that it's Necro isn't a super weird thing. This is like a pretty accurate list, I would say. Necro does have results like this. No, Ryu would normally just be here anyway. I meant like specifically of like the established low tiers. Necro would be the one the most appropriate to jump up here. But yeah, you would typically see Necro probably here, and then either Ryu or Oro or both might be up here. But apart from that, this is a pretty standard third strike list. His Q is a little low, and he didn't put the top 2 spot with anyone else. There could maybe be like another, like, I don't know. I think this is nice that he's only got it in 4 tiers instead of like 5, because I think these guys all compete pretty fairly with each other, and these guys compete pretty fairly with each other and with these guys. It's a good list. Remy, I don't think the order was right in the bottom row, but it's like it wasn't. It's not like ridiculous. I think Remy is better than Sean and yeah, better than 12. I think Q is comfortably better than Alex, but that's me. You could do it either way. There have been a lot of discussions on whether Yan is better than Chun-Li. They're very close. They're both really stupid for different reasons. I asked Bungus recently, I was like, let's play Guns 2. I didn't say right then. I was like, let's do it soon. And he was like, yeah, we should. That might happen soon. I haven't chatted with Bungus in a bit. He's like one of my favorite people in the world. Someone tell him I said that. It should be me. I should tell him that. I like promised to hang out with him, and then I still haven't done it, and now we're having a quarantine. We only hung out during like tournaments and online. We haven't had a hangout in person yet, even though we're butt buds. Pretty awkward super, but Chun-Li didn't punish it. It was hard to punish. Chun-Li probably could have punished it with a jump. Nice. I don't understand how that overhead works. It's annoying. It's almost like it can just hit meaty. Why isn't PSO2 on PC yet? It's so annoying. Do you actually know about that? It's they made an English translation already. They made it a long fucking time ago. There's the Japanese version with the patch that people always talk about, but actually you can play the game in... I forget where. It was like Singapore. They made some version of the game. I think Singapore. And it just has like an English translation, like an official one. But they banned every like USA player who tried to play on it, compared to the Japanese version where they just allowed the USA players to live. You're not banned for being American on the Japan server, but you are banned for being American on the Singapore server. But it's just kind of funny because the Singapore server has official English. There is already an official English translation. They could literally just roll it out today if they wanted to. I mean, probably not because they need to get servers and stuff. But in terms of like implementation, it would be very, very fast. PS2 is never on Vita, I'll have you know. PSO Nova was on Vita. Set in the PSO2 engine. Every time there's a Phantasy Star Online game, there's like a fucking handheld like spin-off set in approximately in the engine. For Phantasy Star Online, it was Phantasy Star Zero on DS. For Phantasy Star Universe, it was Portable 1 and 2 on PSP. And then for PSO2, it was Nova on Vita. Streaming it? I didn't even think of that. Vita's an interesting console, isn't it? It's a really good idea, honestly. But Switch does the same thing as one console. One thing I really don't like about the Vita is that the screen is continuous with the faceplate. My Vita screen is covered in smudges. I hacked my Vita recently. Someone just reminded me that hacking Vitas was a thing, and I was like, I wonder how easy this is. And I googled it, and it's literally, like, very easy. I did it in, like, 10 minutes with no, like, research. And now I've got a hacked Vita finally. The Vita's lifespan isn't as good as the PSP's, but ironically, if you're emulating PSP games it's a lot lighter on the console, so the battery will actually last longer. So the battery actually is like bigger on the Vita, but it has got greater consumption. But when you're doing PSP stuff on it, it has less consumption. Or rather the same consumption, but on a bigger battery. So it's kind of cool. It's actually really good. It does everything the PSP does better than the PSP. Unless you like the ergonomics of the PSP, which I would understand. You've also got built-in PS1 emulation. I was literally in a GameStop like 10 years after the PS3 came out. Maybe not that long. More like 6 years. And the guy casually mentioned, I was like, I got all these PS1 games I can't play. And he was like, play them on your PS3. And I was like, I have a new gen, I have a slim PS3. I can't play games on it. I can't play PS1 games on it. And he's like, all PS3s can play PS1 games. And I was like, I thought it was only like the new ones, or the old ones. And he's like, no, the old ones can play PS2 games, but all of them can play PS1 games. And I was like, huh? And then I went home that day. And I took Dragon Warrior 7 on PS1, and I put it into my PS3, and the game fucking worked. And I was like, what the fuck? This whole time, PS3s play PS1 games. How fucking incredible. How badass. I feel like they completely fucking, they completely failed to market that. I only have like, I think I've sold them all now, but I only had like 4 PS1 games anyway. I had Wild Arms 1 and 2. I had Final Fantasy 7 and 9. I had Dragon Warrior 7. And that was like it. The PS1's library is really weird, but it's one of my favorite libraries. Oh, she did. I never beat FF8. I got to disc 2 and then I just stopped. Never started again. One of the things was I was kind of being bugged into playing FF8 by one of my friends where it was like his favorite game. And that didn't hurt me. I actually played more of it than I would have if he wasn't doing that. But I remember like eventually I stopped. I fell out of contact with him. And I didn't want to play it when he wasn't around. When you're playing a game with someone, it's annoying because like if they're not around and you want to play it, you gotta wait. And if they are around and you don't want to play it, like you might find yourself playing it anyway. What I do nowadays is whenever someone tells me to play a game, I'm just like, I'll stream it. And that way they can watch me playing it, but also I'll play it whenever I want to. Squall is probably the greatest example of 12-year-old cool I've ever seen in my entire life. Or he's up there. I never liked the name Aerith, or Aerith rather. I never liked Aerith. But then I heard that it's supposed to be a reference to Earth, and I liked it. And now I don't think Aerith is so bad. I do think Aerith is better. God, why are generic ninja characters so cool? Why is Hiei so cool? Hiei is the most 12-year-old cool character I've ever seen. I like when Yanks pick SA3 in this matchup. Why did they make the FF X2 girls into tiny fairies? But also, why did it work? Why is it so appropriate? Work that corner. Nice mirror placement. I love when you're just sitting there fucking not blocking anything for like ages, and then all of a sudden the mirror just hits you. It's like, fuck you. Oh, he did the heavy one. The medium one, ironically, would have worked. This is a big comeback. Nice. Got the whiff punish. This could happen. 1 EX Rekka. Oh, the chip is big danger. Yep. You can push the link. Remember people grinding to level 99 on Destiny Island? Why does this shit never work anymore? I just want to hover over something and see it. I'm clicking the link. I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at. He's definitely 12-year-old cool, though. Some Gotcha Force character. Nice. As Oro, I always get a stay medium kick punish on knee drops. But if I parry one and walk in, I get a close strong punish on it. Probably similar with Chun-Li. She probably always gets low forward, but if she parries it, she gets close run house. Little things like that. Nice block. Get out of that corner before Yurin gets another bar. Oh my god, no. Get out of the corner. No! Okay. Now he's in the corner. What's sad is that parry on the fireball, the best thing he could have possibly gotten was probably the left forward he got. Low run house was probably too slow there. Couch Fierce was out of range. Most of his standing normals were out of range. It was like hard to have more optimized thing than what he got. Knee drop. That was nice. Tackle onto mirror just to get the corner. The mirror placement's not super good, but it's good enough. It is super good, actually. He also win with a poke. There, he got it. He got the poke. I'm not rooting for Chun-Li. But I did offer some advice on how Chun-Li could not die in the corner. My work sells toilet paper, and one of the toilet papers that came in with a shipment has like been commandeered. It got bought by the bosses, or like 2 of them or something, and now they're giving toilet paper to every employee on like a whoever needs it basis, which is a nice thing. Yeah, Home Depot sells toilet paper. We sold out the slowest because people didn't know that, but we did sell out. I had like a million calls that were like, hey, do you have toilet paper? And I kept on being like, no, no, no. And it was like a 1-second phone call thing. Someone calls in, random number from outside the store. I pick it up. I'm like, hello, how can I help? Home Depot. And it's like, hey, do you have any toilet paper? And I'm just like, no. And it's like, do you know when we'll get some more in? And I'm like, maybe the 20th. It was like 2 weeks ago. And they were like, okay, and they hung up. And that was that. That would be like how, like all my calls would come in. No, they have not laid me off. They don't seem to have any plans to. In fact, they need employees more than ever right now. Anyway. I had one guy call in. You need to do the neutral toilet hit, bounce off the mirror for most characters in this game. I had one person call me in and he's like, "Hey, can I give you a skew?" And I'm like, yeah, give me a sec." I open up fucking IMS and I get ready to type in the skew and I'm like, "Give it to me," and it ends up being like a fucking toilet paper. And I remember thinking to myself, it's like, why didn't you just ask for toilet paper? I think I asked him to. I was like, no, we don't have this. And he's like, aren't you going to look? And I'm like, it's showing 0 on my thing. And he's like, yeah, but can't you just look in the home? And then I walked over to the home and looked. And we didn't have any. And told him that, and he hung up. And I remember thinking to myself, like, man, this guy made me jump through some hoops. I don't think he ever even asked if we had any other kinds of toilet paper. He was looking for that one specifically. It was like Charmin. Like a Charmin 30 pack or something. It's so rare for people to call in and ask to give me a skew. It's usually just other Home Depot employees who do that. It's like the Home Depot in the adjacent town will call me and be like, hey, can you do like a product? Can you eyeball a product for me? I don't mind doing that stuff. It's fine. But having a customer be like, hey, I've got a skew here. Can you look it up? It's like weird. I've had a lot of customers recently be like, hey, can you go to the back and check? It's like, lady, this is a warehouse. It's not in the back, it's up top. Look up and you'll see whether it's there or not. But also, if it's toilet paper, no, it's not there. Weird Home Depot story. I've got a few. We had 2 people having sex in the men's bathroom. Man and a woman. Both looked kind of coked out. They went to the men's bathroom together. They went to the handicap stall and they started having sex audibly. And we had like a bunch of Home Depot employees all kind of packed around the bathroom, kind of just like, what should we do about this? And I guess one of the managers called the police. So the couple eventually came out and they walked directly into the hands of the police. I don't know what law they broke, but they probably broke something. Oh, it wasn't the X-Mirror. Imagine burning that bar and then dying. I also once saw a guy getting his dick sucked in a car in the parking lot. It was during Christmas too, so I was out in the tree lot selling trees to people. And it was like super late. The tree lot was like just closed. There was like no one around. This was the one fucking car with its lights on in the back. And a guy leaning back in the fucking front seat. And then like later on a fucking girl lifting her head from the fucking passenger side. And it's like, bro, getting head in a Home Depot parking lot. Those are my 2 sex stories. I've got many non-sex stories. I've got a lot more boring stories. I've got stories of customers being stupid. One story I like that was a very minor instance of stupidity, but I found it to be very memorable, is a lady asking me if we had lamps, and I took her to the lamps we had. She was like pretty old. She was like 60 or 70, probably 70, probably 70 or 80. She was really old. And I showed her the lamps we had, and she's like, "Did these lamps use electricity?" And I honestly did not know how to reply. I was like, yes. Yes, they do. I wonder if she was trying to ask if they were like, you know, they plugged into a wall, or whether they used batteries or something. But they weren't oil lamps. They were like very obviously not oil lamps. Two of my coworkers once got into an argument on whether fish were birds or mammals. And they were like, "Nee. Hey, are birds, are birds, no, are fish birds?" Or it was like reptiles. It was like birds or reptiles. It's like, are fish birds or are they reptiles? I'm like, huh? And they repeated the question. I was like, they're fish. They're not birds or reptiles. The entire question freaked me out. Very difficult to get out of that alive. Had to do a whole bunch of parries, and even if you did like one parry into throw, your aim was airborne. So you would have just promptly died. That's not fucking insane. That's dumb. It's not insane. I got one coworker. I've probably told this story here. I had one coworker say the N-word like 7 times in a row to me. I hate that guy, to be honest. I hate him for really reasons mostly unrelated to that. Although I do think that was a very how do you say? I don't know how to describe it. A very unflattering moment for him. Saying the N-word 7 times in a row is not something that, like, you know, decent people do. That was actually the first day I met him. He said the N-word 7 times to me. The full story is that we were working together, and he was like a new hire, and I was driving the forklift around, and he like kind of, I almost dropped a load on his foot, which was like a terrible thing to. We were working in pretty close proximity, and he was like cutting the thing off. He's like, "Hey, can you drop it a bit for me?" Something like that. He like walked in, he put his hand up, he made a fist with his hand, as I was lowering it, and I wasn't expecting him to even walk in, and I almost dropped it on his foot. He wasn't that close, but like he could have gotten closer, and I could have dropped it on his foot. And it was like a 1,000-pound pallet, so it would have been really bad. I would have like broken his foot. And that was like I wasn't expecting him to move in. Honestly, I had a heavy load, and I like you don't put something under a heavy load while like someone's on a forklift driving it. But he like stepped in right then, and he was like, when I do this, he was like all mad at me because I almost dropped a heavy load on his foot. Like I understand why he'd be mad, but it was like his first day. He's like, when I do this, and he like showed the hand with the fist closed. He's like, that means stop. I'm like, sorry, I wasn't looking for your hand, bro. It's not how we do things here. I didn't know. It was your first fucking day here. I didn't know that you were going to try and communicate to me with fucking hand gestures. Or that hand gesture would be the one you would use. Or that's what it meant. Like, I probably could have guessed it would mean stop if I knew it meant something. But I wasn't looking for his hands. I was like, when we, like, you know, that's not what we do here. Don't get close to the load anyway, is what I said. Anyway, like, he started, like, yelling at me, and I was like, I'm gonna go take my break. So I did. And then he came up to the break room a little bit later, and he was like, sorry about that. I was like, you know, and I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, like, almost hurt you. That could have been really bad. I just wasn't expecting it. I'm like, let's just take care to make sure it never happens again, you know? And then we were working outside. We were, like, both kind of, like, apologetic, you know what I mean? It was like that was something nearly very awful that happened because of a little bit of lax badness on both our parts. Like, I still have to take care that I don't drop anything on anyone. I can't just rely on them to stay out of the way. I learned that from experience. It was definitely partially my fault. But later that night, we were working outside together in the front of the store. And I was, like, throwing stuff with the, he was taking off wrap from pallets, and I was, like, driving stuff around with the forklift. And he was like, he's like, it's nice. Like, we were making conversation. He's like, it's nice hanging out here with you instead of, like, being inside. And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of nice. Like, I like the outside air and stuff. He's like, yeah, they always got the radio playing in the back, and it's always like. And then he did this. He's like, they got the radio playing in the back, and it's always like. He's like, it's always like rap music, like. I think he specifically said it was supposed to be rap music, and then he immediately like said the N-word like 7 times, like hard R, right? In his imitation of what rap lyrics sound like. And this guy is a 64-year-old white man. and I was just like, uh, I don't even remember what I said. I don't know if there's a thing to say. On one hand, I'm not the person. I'm not. On one hand, I'm not black, but on the other hand, wow. I still kind of feel like maybe you shouldn't be like talking like that a little bit. I'm not the kind of person who gets offended on other people's behalfs, but also I'm not a racist. Or at least I endeavor not to be a racist. This guy fucking just said the N-word that many times. I was like, if anyone else heard this, you'd be fired. I don't think I said that. I didn't say anything like that. I didn't say anything related to that. I'm very quiet at work. I got nothing in common with most of my coworkers. Got no reason to fucking talk about anything but work to them. I mean, I still chat, don't get me wrong. It was like he was trying to fucking, it was like he was trying to scope whether I was a fellow white supremacist. I don't know if he's a white supremacist, but you know, saying something like that. Good lord. Oh, he waited so long and it wasn't long enough. Why does Urian's actual crouching button activate cross counter, but Oro's non-crouching launcher doesn't activate cross counter? How bullshit for Urian. My launcher just literally ignores it. I told it eventually got out briefly. In retail, your coworkers change a lot because people quit all the time. Yes, that is my least favorite coworker of all time. He's awful for a million different reasons, and that is just one of them. But eventually, some of my coworkers found out about my YouTube, and then it turned out that my boss, her husband, was into fighting games, and it turned out he was subbed to me on YouTube. It was kind of funny. I was like, cool. He actually did the right parry for that very specific target combo. Holy shit. He was like, Dudley's going to try and kill me. Oh no! Dudley's going to try and kill me with this very specific target combo. I was playing a Dudley recently on Fightcade, and he tried to chip me out with that super, and I got the full parry. It was a good feeling. Look how squished. If that elf did an okay hand, it would be a okay hand skin tone 4. What's funny is the manga, the doujin or whatever that elf comes from, is black and white. So that elf's skin tone is ambiguous. But I decided that elf is actually dark because dark elves are better. Nice anti-air, and also great parry on the anti-air. That was big brain all around. So the really annoying thing that makes me actually hate this coworker, don't get me wrong, I don't think highly of him based on this N-word story, but the thing that actually makes him awful to me specifically is that he'll like make up rules on how you're supposed to do something, and if you don't do it that way, he'll like get mad at you, which is like unbelievably annoying. So like when we're putting stuff away, when we're fronting and facing like bags of soil and stuff like that, it's generally good practice to have the bag the right way up, right? You know, that we actually endeavor to do all the time. And then also having the bag be facing the person for the vertical bags for the like vertically oriented bag, not vertically oriented like up and down, but like vertically like towards the person looking at the pallet. For those ones, it's like you know, maybe the bottom should be closer to the person, so they're looking at it the right way up. And we endeavored to do that too. So the bags should be the right way up, and they should also be facing the person who would be looking at them from where they're looking at the pallet. But then if it's like side-to-side pallets, you know, going from one side of the pallet to the other side, it doesn't really matter. And this coworker decided on his own one day, it was just like, hey, whenever we have a choice, we should put it so they're facing the front of the store for the sideways ones, because that's the other axis. Because they're like in aisles that are like, you know, running north to south and the bottom of the store is south. So when you're looking at the bags, you're looking at it from either the east or the west. So you could have the bags be either facing, if they're like, you know, going east to west, you could have them facing the viewer. But if they're going north and south, you could go facing south. That was his plan. And that's okay. That's something that's fine if he does it. But the thing is, he decided that it was like a rule, and then if he sees you doing something that's not that, he'll get mad at you. And he'll like even refuse to work at you if he's too mad at you. He literally just like invented a rule, and then he like gets upset and makes you do it again, or like corrects you if you're not following his rule. And he does that with a lot of different stuff. Yeah, when we get the pallets, there's like all the bags are right side up, but there's no rhyme or reason to them besides that. They're not necessarily facing the customer. He doesn't really seem autistic to me. Although I like, you know, the 2 stories I've told about him sound pretty autistic. He seems fairly neurotypical. Well, he seems to have some kind of problem, but it doesn't seem to be a neurological problem. He certainly has some issues going on at home. He's 64. He's not married. He's got like a... He's got some kind of like terrible relationship with a woman. But it's not like... I don't think he was ever married to her. I think it's like an ex-girlfriend. He's 64 and he lives with 2 roommates in an apartment. Which is like, wow, you're 64 and you live in 2 roommates with an apartment. Like, granted, my living situation isn't spectacular. I live with my mom. But he's 64. I figured I would have shit figured out by then. And, like, one day in particular, I remember when I found out his living situation was because one of his coworkers, I mean, one of his roommates was bringing weed back to the apartment or something like that. And he was, like, super pissed off at this guy because, like, they could all get kicked out of the apartment for the weed. I think this was after fucking legalization or whatever, decriminalization in California. But, you know, it might still be against, housing regulation, I guess. Like the apartment code. So he was literally like, he had like a 4-hour shift with me, and he literally spent like 3 hours of the 4-hour shift on the phone, like following me around in the back of outside garden, on the phone with one of his roommates, telling him to like what that roommate should say to the other roommate, which was the one who brought the weed. Literally spent his whole shift, and it was like post closing. It was like the 1 hour. It was like not actually 3 hours. It was like 1 hour though. It was like actually like a 1 hour phone call, and it was like after we already closed. So there were like no customers around anything, and we didn't really have any supervision. You know, we were just supervising each other, if you know what I mean. And I don't really care if he's working, to be 100% honest. My job in no way depends on my coworkers contributing. You know what I mean? Like, there's no like quota I have to meet. So if they don't do anything, nothing changes for me. I just like work until the time goes, and then I leave. And I just remember him being like having like this fucking apartment situation, and him being on the phone, like when he's supposed to be working, him being on at work on the phone for an hour. Thinking to myself, you know, there's a time and a place. Something else, that guy. There are a million other things I hate about him. Don't get me wrong. I've got a long list. All my other coworkers refuse to even talk to him. I talk to him fine. I'm good at bottling it up. Just being like, hey, how are you? What he's doing today? And then doing it. I can work with him. I don't like to, but I can. Oh, that's hard to do. It's not that hard. Times when you want to record audio for videos but feel are home and loud. That used to be my brother all the time. My brother was basically constantly making noise, but now he's moved out. What's even more annoying was he would often want to make audio and tell me to be quiet. That happened a lot because he was recording all the fucking time. And what's even really fucking 10 times more annoying is, he was fucking loud, and he often did it while I was asleep, because I have weird hours, because I work nights. So oftentimes I would be going to bed at 4 a.m. and waking up at like noon. He's a musician, so he would record himself singing or like playing any number of instruments. He can play the piano super well, he can play guitar super well, he can play drums. He's actually very talented. But I gotta say, it was real fucking annoying. Damn, sucks to be you. Big damage jump in. I'm probably gonna stop after this video, and damn, this is the last round. I said I'm probably gonna stop, and then it was literally 30 seconds until the video's over. But I don't want to start a new one. I got some people I want to chat with, and I've got a bet I want to get into. Nice. Should kill, I think. It's possible to parry that post-freeze, but it's one frame. It's fairly easy to parry it pre-freeze, but if you didn't, then you're fucked. Is the next one part 3? It is, damn it. The one after that's part 4. I don't want to watch 2 more parts that are like an hour long each. I think I'm going to go for the day. It's been fun for this little 4-hour stream. Damn, I was streaming as long as I usually work. 4-hour shifts are so nice. Night, people.